messaging friends and family who do not own iPhones is worse, even though Apple, not the rival smartphone,
All right.
is
The first thing I'm going to do right now today is
imagine your product getting to such a degree that
go
the government
defeat
is
Pinwheel and then
arguing
get
that
the
you are
one
making
mask
competitors
that
look bad
can
on
give
purpose.
me
If there's any doubt that this isn't a ploy to push
stamina
product,
regen.
consider this. When a reporter asked Apple CEO Tim Cook if the company could please fix these issues because, quote, not to make it personal, but I can't send my mom certain videos, Cook simply responded, quote, buy your mom an iPhone. That's a pretty clear and strong message from the top, underpinning the somewhat ridiculous cultural bubble debate as a microcosm of a much bigger issue.
Gross.
To quote Myasha Tasnim in her white paper in the European Journal of Business Management, Apple, quote, simply does not want to beat the competition, but destroy the competition. True or not, even being accused of this behavior is ironic because this is the very thing Apple once urged their customers to fight against. In its now iconic Orwellian Super Bowl ad that put the company on the map 40 years ago, hundreds of blank-faced workers all wearing the same gray uniforms watched a godlike figure preach about conformity. A woman with bright orange shorts and bleach blonde hair runs into the room and heroically smashes the screen with a sledgehammer, breaking the men out of their trance as the voiceover says, on January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh, and you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984. But the company that once rallied against the idea of the man now nets nearly $400 billion in revenue annually. But nobody builds trillions in market value in such a short span of time without angering a few people along the way. Sometimes it's regulators, sometimes it's politicians, sometimes it's other executives. And while Apple has irked all of those people, they also have a history of purposefully doing it to a pretty important group that businesses normally would do anything to keep happy. It's customers. And the thing is, as paradoxical as it seems,
thought he was going somewhere else
Apple's
with that.
priority has never really been to release products with the most impressive feature set. Rather, they built a name for themselves by carefully developing products that, according to their marketing, just worked. They limited options and configurations, led by Steve Jobs' belief that consumers needed someone to tell them what they wanted rather than choosing for themselves. And maybe he was right. I mean, Apple has created a company with almost certainly the most brand loyalty in the consumer tech space. The meteoric rise of Apple's stock price and booming sales came not so much from innovation or breakthrough features or the most customizable products, but from distinct, splashy products with impressive marketing that created a loyal army of supporters. But eventually, even the most devoted followers of the fruit would have their faith tested, one scandal and controversy at a time. So hello everybody, today we're going to be talking about the theory of Apple's planned obsolescence. And I want to get this out of the way and make this very clear. I am not accusing anyone or promoting anyone in this video. These are all things that other people have said, and I'm just speculating, giving my opinion, which should not be treated as fact. Do the research for yourself. Your discretion, don't try this at home. Anything I can say right now to not get sued. But I believe this to be an interesting topic and one worth talking about. And as long as you don't tell the tech conglomerates that I started this, I think it's a topic worth discussing. There's a lot of moves the company's made over the years that probably wouldn't fly if it didn't have the Apple name attached. So we're going to talk about a few of those today. That is, again, my opinion and not stated fact. And if it is, other people said it first. We are going to go ahead and get into it. But as always, thank you for watching. So to kick this off, let's start with AntennaGate. AntennaGate in 2010 was the first of Apple's major controversies. What began as an issue with the iPhone 4's antenna hardware design reached a climax when Steve Jobs essentially told people, "You're holding the phone wrong," rather than admit fault. This was the first time consumers began to openly question Apple's legitimacy on such a scale, which was an especially big deal given the iPhone's rapidly growing success. By the time it reached its fourth generation, the iPhone was one of the most popular smartphones in the world. The first gen iPhone was announced in January of 2007. Apple teased the device with a 30-second television ad featuring quick clips of famous film and TV characters like Lucy from I Love Lucy, Betty Rubble, and Ron Burgundy picking up a phone and saying some version of hello. It ended with a product shot against a black background showcasing a phone that was 99% screen. Though LG quietly was the first to market with a phone that featured a capacitive touchscreen, There was something about Apple's version that was intriguing, enticing, and felt like something that had never been done before. The major smartphone companies that dominated the market at the time, like BlackBerry and Palm Pilot, didn't know what to expect. Neither did Nokia, who in 2007 was hands down the undisputed global leader in the mobile phone market with a 40% market share. When the iPhone dropped that summer, it was a game changer. It was part phone, part iPod. It had an LCD touchscreen that was more vibrant than most people's TVs, and due to the aforementioned capacitive screen technology, didn't suffer from the same clunky, inconsistent touch interface that plagued the LCD screens of pretty much every other smartphone at the time. But perhaps most noteworthy of all was the phone's complete lack of a physical keyboard, a feature that many phone makers saw as a death stroke for Apple's fledgling smartphone. There was no replacement for tactile, real physical buttons, they felt, and so smartphones willingly chose to sacrifice valuable screen real estate in order to house those keyboards, or else employed complicated solutions like slide-out mechanisms that made the phones thick, heavy, and susceptible to broken parts. The iPhone, on the other hand, had only one button on the front and included something Steve Jobs dubbed multi-touch, which allowed input from more than one point of contact on the screen at a time. This was somewhat revolutionary, as the vast majority of phone screens only registered input from one contact point, one index finger or thumb at a time. Jobs was vocally opposed to the stylus, or little pins used to interact with certain touchscreens on smart devices, including Palm Pilots. If you had a Nintendo DS, you know what I'm talking about. And during the iPhone's announcement, Jobs proclaimed the best stylus was the one you were born with, your finger. Users simply had to tap, pinch, or swipe to interact with their screens. The iPhone was fast and responsive with no noticeable input lag, thanks to Apple's use of their own silicon. This was not always the case at the time with mobile devices in 2007. Many people were still using phones with black and white screens and monophonic ringtones, and phone plans offered a limited number of minutes and charged users per text. While the first generation iPhone notoriously lacked video recording capabilities, a copy and paste function for text, an app store, and the ability to send photos or videos through text, none of that mattered. The iPhone succeeded thanks to the things it could do well, doing them better than arguably any other phone on the market. And it did so in a sleek, sexy package with a brilliant marketing strategy showing it to the world. According to Mark Webber of the Computer History Museum in the heart of Silicon Valley, quote, "I don't think there's any question that iPhone set the standard that really almost all phones have followed since then. So it isn't overstating it when I say that the iPhone was truly revolutionary. It made any cell phone or smartphone that came before it look like a dinosaur. With each generation, the iPhone became more and more popular, with the upcoming release of the iPhone 4 the most anticipated of all. This generation was going to have by far the most dramatic redesign yet, and to this day remains one of the sexiest. The 4 replaced the curved plastic body of the 3G and 3GS in favor of a thinner, more squared-off design, with a stainless steel band that wrapped around the outside and, for the first time, an all-glass back. The screen had such a high pixel density that Apple did what Apple does and gave the feature a catchy new name. They called it the Retina display. Apple sold 4 million units in the first weekend alone. The first iPhone had taken 74 days just to reach 1 million. The iPhone 4 was unquestionably a massive success. With an all-new, even faster processor than before, Wired magazine proclaimed this new generation made its, quote, predecessor look like toys. Grip it in your hand, the review said, and the iPhone 4 feels like the phone of the future. And as it turns out, they were right. But the writer of that article probably wasn't left-handed, or they might not have had such high praise. Lefty iPhone 4 owners were experiencing a concerning issue that they couldn't explain. As one user on Reddit would summarize, quote, the iPhone 4 was just so different in a lot of ways to everything else out there. It felt so solid, the screen was brilliant, the speed was definitely noticeable. It introduced FaceTime. It had it all and went on to sell hundreds of millions of units with an antenna that was apparently worse than Hitler. All right, well, that statement's probably exaggerating a little bit. I don't know what the antenna did, but it couldn't be that bad, right? Despite all the iPhone 4's impressive new features and hardware, the phone part of this smartphone contained a pretty serious design flaw. A large part of the phone's antenna was fitted into the stainless steel band around the outside of the phone. Some customers found that when they held the phone, especially in their left hand. Quote, the bars that signal the connection to a wireless network seemed to vanish, and occasionally, calls were dropped entirely. The issue was caused by the user's hand bridging the gap between the two parts of the antenna, completing the circuit and shorting the signal. Instead of admitting that their phone was fundamentally flawed, Apple brushed the issue aside, calling the situation overblown, since only 0.5% of its customers had called in to complain and less than 2% returned their phones. 0.5% doesn't sound like a lot, but remember, Apple sold millions of these, roughly 60 million iPhone 4s by the time all was said and done. 0.5% of 60 million is still 300,000 people with a phone that couldn't make calls whenever you held it in your left hand. And not to mention, that's only assuming every single person who experienced the problem had called in to complain. The total number of affected users was likely way higher. And this is where Apple's growing success would become a bit of a double-edged sword. 0.5% of users experiencing major hardware problems was much less of an issue when it happened to the 3 million or so Macs that were sold in 1998. As Apple's market share rapidly scaled upwards, the problem scaled along with it. But Apple didn't designate this as a hardware issue. In fact, they barely considered it a problem at all. The issue, they said, was being caused by the people using the phone. And their advice to the loyal customers making their company rich was essentially, stop holding it that way. And in case you think I'm exaggerating, judge for yourself. Their official response reads, quote, gripping any phone will result in some attenuation of its antenna performance, with certain places being worse than others depending on the placement of the antenna. This is a fact of life for every wireless phone. If you ever experience this on your iPhone 4, avoid gripping it in the lower left corner in a way that covers both sides of the black strip in the metal band. Or simply use one of many available cases. Which I just want to mention, it's rich for one,
feels bad.
That beyond people, and yes, I have an iPhone, hypocrite, whatever. Beyond people holding it, the normal way most people hold phones, their solution is to buy another Apple product and get a case. But for the first time since Steve Jobs returned as CEO,
no idea what that did.
A press release and an explanation weren't enough to rally the fanboys and fangirls to silence the critics. People were not happy, and it didn't take long for the internet to react the way the internet does. Apple's response
I forget how to
went
get to
viral
a
in the
pinwheel.
worst way, appearing as a meme that summarized their press release with a blunt but not entirely inaccurate sentiment. You're holding it wrong. Memes were so much simpler back then. Like, you could show your mom this and she would get it. Imagine doing that with literally anything you see on Twitter now. Well, popular tech publications skewered Apple. CNET immediately published an article titled Poking Holes in Apple iPhone's 4-Antenna Explanation. Gizmodo, a notoriously and heavily pro-Apple tech blog, took it a step further with their article, Apple Antenna Gate, and Why It's Time to Move On. Not a lot of room left to wiggle on that title, huh? In the piece, they criticized CEO Steve Jobs, saying, quote, that's why you'll never get a straight-up apology from Apple. They're smart enough to know that would open the door to a class action suit, and too proud to throw themselves on their sword over a single, irritating, if minor issue. It's just not their style and never will be while Jobs is in charge. Man, this is the way people speak about, like, dictators, like political opponents. In the mainstream, CNN published an article with the headline, got an iPhone 4? You may need duct tape. Everyone's so fired up. In which they suggested a workaround patch. Quote, which sounds
someone
like
would give
it'd
me
be
a
more
workaround
appropriate for kitchen plumbing than for a phone that retails for $200 to $300. And according to ABC News, quote, the backlash reached its peak when the trusted organization Consumer Reports reached their verdict on the iPhone 4. That verdict, not recommended. The blowback became so loud that Steve Jobs was forced to don one of his iconic black turtlenecks and a pair of gray New Balance sneakers and took the stage to hold a press conference addressing the situation directly. At the event, Jobs finally took accountability for the mistake of his then $200 billion company. He said, quote, we're not perfect, and the phones aren't perfect either, but we want all our users to be happy. Quite a change of tone from the you're holding it wrong company. As a proposed solution, Jobs announced free bumper cases, a rectangular rubber-like product that wrapped around the stainless steel frame of the phone for all iPhone
I
owners.
goofed, I
The
gaffed.
bumper case would insulate the phone's antenna
the fuck do I
from the
flip the
conductive
dip-
surface
the
of people's
bridge?
hands. The cases actually did resolve the antenna issue, but that wasn't really the point.
Move,
In
old
2010,
man.
Bloomberg News revealed that Apple had known that there was an issue during the phone's design process. A senior antenna expert at the company tried warning management that there would be issues moving forward with the design, but Apple moved forward anyway.
Okay, you're
choosing
fucking
form over
annoying.
function and avoiding
Not 'cause
the
you keep
hits to
bringing
their
them back,
bottom line
but
that
because
a
you keep getting
redesign
in my way.
certainly would have caused. If making money is the goal, well, that gamble paid off. Apple's
Could've
stock
swore
price
it
would grow
was
150% during the run of the iPhone 4.
Over
Nearly
here,
a year
I
later,
thought
the
the
company would
switch
have
was-
to address another controversy. In 2011, a group of security researchers discovered that iPhones
God
were
damn it, I'm-
tracking and recording its users' location data and storing it
I'm
in
cheating.
an
I'm
unencrypted
looking it up.
file on the phone. This wasn't an opt-in situation. No one that used the phone knew this was happening. And similar to AntennaGate, this controversy would come to be known as LocationGate, which is still funny to me that every controversy, like ever since Watergate, uses the word gate as if gate had something to do with like the nature of controversies itself, where in reality the hotel that all the Nixon stuff happened at was just called Watergate. So it doesn't even apply, but I guess we're just going to keep calling everything blank gate forever. When the researchers who found the file revealed their findings, the outrage transcended past just the iPhone user. No matter what brand of phone was in a purse or pocket, people used this incident as evidence that their fears of being tracked and having their privacy violated were warranted. iPhone users specifically grew concerned that they could be vulnerable to stalkers or anyone wanting to harm them, and there was no opting out. It could not be turned off. Steve Jobs again had to put out an announcement. This time, it was a hard denial in the form of an emailed response to a contributor on the popular website Mac Rumors, stating, quote, "We, Apple, don't track anyone, and that the info circulating around is false. Apple is not tracking the location of your iPhone. Apple has never done so and has no plans ever to do so." Again, their response, which clearly wasn't an apology or even an oops, my bad, wasn't taken at face value. It made people angrier until Apple amended its response to say they weren't tracking and storing users' data on purpose, which that's a completely different statement than the previous one. They said the iOS location cache was a bug, unintentionally collecting more Wi-Fi and cell tower locations than it actually needed for purposes of improving location services. Okay, so it went from we're not doing that, we've never done that, to we are doing that, but it's on accident, to we are doing that, but it's to help our location service. Like, it's 2026. We're all way too familiar with everyone is spying on us and tracking our data all the time, forever. That's just how life is. But I mean, if you're gonna like incorporate us into an Orwellian surveillance state, can you at least be nice about it? From here, the issue became global. When a South Korean iPhone customer sued Apple about this issue, regulators found Apple
So I was going the right
fined
way.
them,
All right.
making them pay out a whopping $946 to the customer. That's right. Someone sued Apple, again, over $200 billion at this time. Someone sued them for tracking their location, and Apple paid them about the price of a phone. That's right, everyone. Justice has been served. Though the monetary amount was largely a principled stand, privacy advocates use LocationGate and Apple's large user base to their advantage to spread an overreaching, broader message to the mainstream. Don't be fooled. Smartphones aren't just for entertainment. According to Christina Bonington of Wired Magazine, they're, quote, eroding privacy in the always connected digital age. Which, yeah, Christina, how right you are. Apple would only last about a year until their next big iPhone-related controversy. In 2012 came the
fuck did I
iPhone
miss
5,
this?
and along with it, Scuffgate. Again, just throwing gate at the end of everything. You get a gate, I get a gate. We're all gates now. Turns out the iPhone 5's new space black finish could be scratched extremely easily by a set of keys, credit cards, or coins. All things that typically live in a pants pocket or purse next to the phone. Again, Apple's response was dismissive, with their chief marketing officer hand-waving concerns and using their favorite explanation. It's not a bug, it's a feature. The reply was, quote, any aluminum product may scratch or chip with use,
Ow!
exposing its natural color. That's normal. Hey, my iPhone keeps getting scratched up. Yes. But other brands' black smartphones didn't seem to have this big of an issue. Moreover, Apple should have anticipated the problem, given it had already experienced similar issues with its iPod Nano, which led to a $22 million settlement in 2009. But Apple kept releasing iPhones and continued to face controversy with each new model. This time, the issue was a structural flaw with the iPhone 6 and following.
I think I was supposed to go down more.
Their biggest
Fuck
jet.
me.
I feel like iPhone 6 was also.
Am I alive?
When like the culture, at least when I was younger, the culture around iPhones and Apple started to shift.
Okay.
Because I remember when the
guess.
iPhones started coming out and they were the biggest thing ever. It's all anyone wanted to talk about. And I remember, I feel like it peaked around the 5C.
I like never go in this area. I
At
hate
least
this
that
area
was
so
like
much,
my
so I have
first
no
phone.
idea where.
So I remember the
where
5C
anything is and
fondly.
shit.
I got like the lime green one, and all my friends got like the different cool colored ones. And I feel like after that, that was like the apex, and then it started to become like surveillance state. Apple's watching us.
Do I have to flip it
purposely
again?
Bad
Come
products,
on.
whatever. But the 5C, that was a special moment. But I remember when the iPhone 6 came out, feeling like, do I really need another one? And again, I was like 13. So normally the answer would be yes, but that goes to show how much the sentiment started to shift. For me, at least, the sentiment started to shift. As mentioned, the iPhone 6 was the biggest jet. But I feel that's when people started to talk about the sentiment shifting.
Oh, wait.
And by biggest jet, I mean
Oh,
literally.
okay. Nice.
The iPhone
Well,
6 not
Bridges-
only featured a larger screen than the previous model, but for the first time was also available as a separate plus-size model, the iPhone 6
I got
Plus.
you.
Whereas the previous
Spam
phone
it,
screen
fuck
came
it.
in at 4 inches, the base model 6's was 4.7. The 6 Plus added an entire inch and a half on top of that, totaling 5.5 inches of screen real estate.
What?
Within weeks,
The other one.
concerns and complaints
What?
about the phone's
Okay,
pliability
whatever. God
emerged.
damn it.
becoming what would be dubbed Bendgate. The gates with okay, whatever. The newly minted screen and body size of both models would be the culprit. The 6 Plus, at over 37% larger than the previous model, along with its all-aluminum construction, was susceptible to developing a slight curve over time. Just for being in the one place most people keep their phones for a majority of the time, their pocket. In extreme examples, the glass would break or separate from the phone's chassis. Apple responded by claiming they had only heard of 9 complaints, which was a difficult lie to maintain in the burgeoning age of social media. Customers flooded social media to post images of their newly curved phones as proof that there were far more than 9 of them. Also, you're Apple. 9? Really? That's like, if 9 of your customers exploded, you would never know. But you've only heard of 9 people talk about the bent phone. Okay. But Apple, in typical fashion, didn't apologize. In fact, they doubled down, defending their design process, saying both the 6 and 6 Plus underwent extensive durability tests. Quote, a development cycle including 3-point bending, pressure point cycling, sit, torsion, and user studies. And they didn't find any problem with bending or pliability. Hard to find something you're not looking for. A few years later, during a 2018 lawsuit related to touchscreen failures, excerpts of Apple's internal test documents were unsealed. The test documents revealed what most people already assumed. Apple knew this would be an issue. Language in the lawsuit read, quote, Apple's internal testing determined that the iPhone 6 was 3.3 times more likely to bend than the iPhone 5S, and that the iPhone 6 Plus was 7.2 times more likely to bend than the iPhone 5S. Bendgate had other issues lying in wait. It wasn't immediately noticeable, but after a couple years of use, some iPhone 6s developed something called touch disease, a flickering gray bar at the top of the touchscreen. In many cases, this evolved into a touchscreen that didn't respond to touch whatsoever. Independent repair experts who specialized in smartphones and micro soldering confirmed this was related to the phone's pliability. The phone's Touch IC chip, which is responsible for relaying touches registered on the screen to the brain of the phone, would separate from the logic board due to normal everyday use and a faulty design.
Why was he
One of the experts, Mark Schaefer, gave some advice on how to prevent touch disease. Quote, really all you can do is avoid any activity that would cause the phone to flex. Don't drop it. Definitely don't put it in any case that requires you to apply force to the phone to get it in and out of the case. Don't put it in your back pocket. Don't put it in your front pocket if it's a tight pocket.
I think I'm going the wrong way. I'm dead.
Don't put it in any pocket. Not helping the situation was the fashion of the times. skinny jeans. With a tighter fit within users' pocket than typical jeans, iPhones were pressed even more closely against the legs and butts of Apple users than ever before. It was a disaster in the making.
Why do
Apple
people
maintained that
fucking wear
any
skinny
instances
jeans? I hate skinny
of
jeans so
display
goddamn
flickering
much.
or multi-touch issues were the result of a phone being, quote, dropped multiple times on a hard surface. Once again, the response is, it's your fault, while gaslighting the public about how much their phones actually became damaged. It truly does feel like an abusive relationship cycle. We get love bombed, and then we're harassed, and then when we start to go away, oh look, a new iPhone. It'll be nice to us this time. After
Hell
enough
yeah.
public backlash, Apple announced a targeted repair program,
That's like me for
saying
real.
they would only charge customers $149 to fix out-of-warranty phones that exhibited this issue. You know, only $149. And while they never admitted there was a flaw in their design, they would later acknowledge
I literally
engineering
don't think
changes
I'm going to be
the
able to
following
do this.
generation of phones that seem to address this. While there was a class action lawsuit brought against Apple as a result of Bingate, a judge denied the suit's certification, and Apple avoided having to make a broader payout. 2016 brought another class action lawsuit against Apple. This one didn't carry the Gate moniker, thank God, and was simply referred to as Error 53. Software updates are typically just a small inconvenience, but with Error 53, the update was more than annoying. When users were upgrading their iPhones from iOS 9.2.1, as the little progress bar finished its journey across the screen, phones would stop, shut off, and never turn back on again.
Nice.
Completely bricked, the phones became totally unusable.
I'm
More
completely
in line with
bricked.
Apple's claims regarding previous issues, Error 53 actually was a somewhat rare occurrence. It only happened under a very specific set of circumstances. If an iPhone customer had their home button repaired at an unofficial or third-party repair shop, the Touch ID sensor under the button would no longer match the phone, triggering a security lockdown and disabling the phone entirely upon updating the firmware. While
Nice.
Apple argued this was a crucial security feature, which is probably true, it would make sense if the phone was designed in a way that if someone was trying to meddle with it, it would shut down, not allowing them to get information. Many saw this as just another example of Apple's anti-competitive behavior. In essence, Apple was punishing
God
customers
fucking
for
damn
taking their
it.
phones in for repair and giving their hard-earned money to someone other than Apple. Again, the idea of it
Can
being
you
a
fuck-
security feature makes sense, but not if that security feature stops phones that people just took to get fixed. Moreover, the existence of competitively affordable repair options meant customers were less likely to purchase their brand's warranty service, AppleCare, a highly lucrative program for them. So it's real convenient that if people try to get it fixed at anyone that isn't you, the phone locks up. Australia's consumer watchdog, the Australian Competitive and Consumer Commission, went so far as to carry out a sting operation against Apple. Investigators, posing as iPhone customers, called 13 Apple retailers and told them that their speakers stopped working after a non-Apple third party replaced their screens. In each call, Apple's response was nearly identical, telling the customer that because they had gone to a third party for screen repair, Apple was no longer liable for repairs of an unrelated component under Australian consumer protection law. After the ACCC shared the results of their sting, Apple criticized the operation, claiming the responses weren't breaches of contract or law because, quote, consumer law does not exist in hypothetical circumstances. Of course, the service reps didn't know the claims were hypothetical at the time they rejected them, so it's a pretty weak argument if you ask me. I mean, the government carries out this whole operation to see if Apple will deny service because someone did another service to their phone, and Apple's response is, well, these were make-believe scenarios anyway. To be clear, I'm not comparing Apple to child predators. I'm not in any way. But it's funny how that's the same logic that gets used in like traditional sting operations, like on To Catch a Predator and stuff like that, when people get busted for talking to underage kids and they're like, well, the kid never existed, right? So really, because it was a hypothetical child, it shouldn't count. It's like Apple's doing that, but with phone repairs, not claiming the child predator thing again. Do not sue me. But as always, Apple eventually folded, releasing a software update that fixed Error 53. They also claimed Error 53 was only intended for internal testing, and that it somehow made its way to the final product, which again is different than what they said the first time. The first thing they said was, oh, this is like a security feature. You have to backtrack. They're like, well, it was a feature that was never meant to be added in the first place. It's an imaginary feature, a hypothetical one, if you will. All of this led to what was perhaps Apple's biggest iPhone controversy yet, Batterygate. Of course, as soon as we get away from the gate thing, they pull us back in. Batterygate essentially boiled down to one idea that was discovered by developers at Geekbench in December of 2017. Planned to ensure that older iPhone models would begin to perform significantly worse over time. For years, there had been and continue to be quiet rumblings like anecdotes, complaints on forums, and circumstantial evidence that various Apple devices ranging from phones to computers to iPods would suddenly perform noticeably worse upon receiving certain software updates. If you've ever owned an Apple product, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know, allegedly. According to rumors, following these updates, Apple products would suddenly lag more or die sooner than they did before or suffer from slower connections. And while Apple defenders on Reddit love to explain away these issues with frequently used excuses, like, for example, that your iPhone is indexing after an update, temporarily slowing it down and impacting battery life, not everyone...
Yeah, why? What? What do you need?
Was convinced. The prevailing theory has been that Apple engages in something just about every tech company has been accused of at some point: planned obsolescence. In other words, intentionally tanking the performance of old products to encourage consumers to ditch their old devices and upgrade to the shiny new one. When your old MacBook struggles to load your favorite websites, or your phone no longer lasts all day without a charge, you're likelier to plunk down an extra $1,000 or so for the new model. But until 2017, the problem was that no one could actually prove this was the case. Older devices run slow, batteries lose juice. These are all facts of life. And anyone believing that a software update suddenly impacted their device was just imagining things. Indexing. It's always the indexing. Or at least, that's what Apple fans insisted. So when the news about Batterygate broke, thousands of iPhone users suddenly felt validated. Here was proof that Apple was intentionally slowing down phones as they got older, without telling their customers they were doing it. Yet again, no opting out, no toggle, no notification, no announcement. Apple tried to explain their reasoning. Quote, lithium-ion batteries become less capable of supplying peak current demands when they age over time, which can result in the device unexpectedly shutting down to protect its electronic components.
How many of these guys
In
are
other
there?
words, when your
Fucking
battery's
Christ.
life fell below a certain threshold, the phone would become slow as a means of protecting itself. Once again, it's not a bug, it's a feature. A feature that's actually better for you. Stupid. But the good people at Geekbench went into further detail on a technical level. Quote, the problem is due in part to a change in iOS. The difference between versions is too abrupt to be just a function of battery condition. I believe, as do others, that Apple introduced a change to limit performance when battery condition decreases past a certain point. Accusations of planned obsolescence became incredibly hard to deny. Ian Fleming, the author of the James Bond novels, wrote in Goldfinger, quote, once is happenstance, twice is coincidence. The third time, it's enemy action. And while it might be a bit extreme to call Apple the enemy, they certainly aren't your friend. In an effort to save face and win back what trust they could, Apple launched another targeted program. This time, they would replace the batteries of iPhones that were out of warranty for $29 instead of the usual $79. That's right. You think that Apple may be messing with your battery, so you buy a new one? You get a $50 discount. What do you say to that? No, it's not free. You still have to pay for it. But it's $50 off. You're welcome. According to an Apple insider, they only expected to replace 1 to 2 million batteries under this program. In the end, they ended up replacing 11 million. In the
I think there's a specific one. Oh my fucking. don't know if it's random or if I was supposed to fucking target one of the other pinwheels.
US alone,
God
nearly
damn
30
it.
Batterygate-related class action lawsuits were filed against Apple, on the grounds that Apple failed to be transparent and customers were forced to pay for repairs or buy new phones. In 2020, Apple eventually settled for $500 million. Each individual who filed a claim through the class action received a check of, wait for it, $25. That's right, $25. Hey, if you and a friend who were also on the class action got together, you could afford the discount for the new battery. You could pay the difference of the discount. You're welcome. Basically, Apple bought each affected customer a beer and a burger, or a couple movie tickets with no popcorn, in exchange for not apologizing. A coalition of attorneys general, which I think attorneys general is the correct way to say it, but it feels like it should be attorney generals, right? Like the plural of attorney general. But I guess it's attorneys general for some reason. Anyway, a coalition of them from 34 different states also looked into this and concluded that Apple, quote, acted deceptively by hiding the shutdown and slowdown issues, which then led to, quote, boosted iPhone sales potentially by millions of devices per year. Apple agreed to pay out $113 million to the states involved, which went to fund attorney fees and future consumer protection investigations. So, you had problems with your phone, but don't worry, Apple paid the state. You get $25. Have fun. By the end of Batterygate, Apple was out nearly $1 billion in program cost and legal fees and had to make new commitments to transparency. They announced that they would be introducing a new performance management system so they could, quote, reduce performance impacts from battery aging, which is why your iPhones now have a whole battery health section in their settings and sometimes ask you before it charges past 80%. They also sold more than 800 million iPhones during that span of time, which at this point retailed for roughly $1,000 a phone. So they seem to be doing all right. At this point, every time there was a flaw in an Apple product, no matter how small, people yelled and stomped. And for a few years, Apple listened. When people complained that the front-facing camera on the XS model was making their selfies look overly airbrushed, Beautygate, as it was called, Apple quickly adjusted the HDR feature in an iOS update without making much of a fuss. When some people noticed that their phones didn't automatically start charging when it was plugged in with the screen off, ChargeGate, Apple again fixed the issue in an update right away without complaining about the complainers. But Apple's other products got in on the gate action too. Customers who purchased a MacBook Pro between 2012 and 2015 noticed, quote, splotches, streaks, and other surface anomalies on their screen. This was referred to as StainGate. Apple initially told customers that cosmetic damages aren't covered by warranty, but when StainGate.org, a website petitioning for justice, found some traction, Apple must have remembered that they were still in reputation cleanup mode. They swiftly instituted a quality program to replace affected laptops. FlexGate in the gates are driving me up a wall. FlexGate in 2019 took a little more coaxing. This was an issue, again, with the Pro series of MacBooks, notably those that were manufactured in 2016. Users noticed that the bottom part of their screen was suffering from intermittent backlighting, making screens look a lot like stage lighting at a theater. According to third-party repair experts, this issue stemmed from a, quote, weak and fragile flex cable that can experience wear and tear with repeated opening and closings. A class action lawsuit was filed, and the ruling judge declared Apple, quote, knowingly sold the laptops with the defect. A lawsuit took things a step further, alleging that Apple, quote, attempted to cover any evidence and deliberately deleted comments and threads from its Apple support community forum. However, in July of 2021, the case was dismissed. According to Apple Insider, U.S. District Judge Edward Davila concluded that, quote, the plaintiffs had failed to show that the issue was a safety hazard, nor prove the allegation that Apple concealed knowledge of the problem. Apple did eventually launch a targeted repair program, but only specifically for the 13-inch 2016 models. Observant Apple customers noted that the 2018 MacBook Pros didn't seem to have the issue, which means Apple silently fixed it for their later models. In the eyes of many, a quiet admission of guilt. Apple's AirPods joined the party in 2019 for their design and quality issues. The Pro Gen 1 models retailed for $249, and for that price, customers believed they were getting headphones that had a superior sound. But, as yet another class action lawsuit would go on to say, these AirPods actually had, quote, known audio defects that can cause the headphones to exhibit crackling or static sounds, a loss of bass sounds, or an increase in background noise. The lawsuit also alleged that Apple, quote, continued to sell the devices for hundreds of dollars a pair after their release, even though Apple has admitted to the audio issue itself. Apple didn't alert their customers that this was happening. Aside from a page on their website that users couldn't find unless they specifically looked for it, what Apple did do was offer to replace anyone's AirPods that were having problems, but they gave them the exact same model. So many customers continue to experience the same problem as before. Randall's left a note that this exact thing happened to him, and they were replaced under Apple Care, and the new ones did work. So it seemed for some they did get a model with the issue changed, and in others it was simply the same problem. Recently, customers started to complain about the AirPods Pro 1 and 2 models, saying that the noise canceling feature was getting worse. Many on Reddit claimed that the feature was experiencing significant downgrades along with certain firmware updates, once again fueling suspicion of intentional obsolescence to prompt consumers to upgrade. Only a few months after the alleged noise-canceling ruining software updates, Apple announced the release of the AirPods Pro 3, claiming they offer the, quote, world's best in-ear active noise cancellation, and up to 4 times more active noise cancellation than original AirPods Pro and AirPods 4 with active noise cancellation. Okay. Well, if you want the new headphones to sound even better than the old ones, making the old ones worse certainly allows you to pump up the numbers in your claims. Allegedly. Not that that would allegedly work. Allegedly, that could be what could hypothetically be done to make it sound better. Again, don't sue me. 4 times better is more impressive sounding than twice as good. And then there's the good old planned obsolescence. Making the old ones worse will encourage the people who own them to suddenly be less satisfied with their $250 earbuds. When the inevitable articles and YouTube comparisons come out asking, should you upgrade, and comparing last year's model to this year's, the case will be made that these are, in fact, worth the upgrade because they sound so much better than the previous generation. Here's another note.
I have no idea where I'm going.
I also experienced my AirPods Pro 2 getting significantly worse voice around this time. I used them several times a week at the same gym, same time of day, and went from not being able to hear anything around me to suddenly hearing the gym's terrible choice of music, people talking and metal clanking. To the point I found myself constantly checking
where am I?
if
What the
transparency mode had been enabled. On a flight where noise normally wouldn't have been an issue, crying children and a couple next to me were all audible with the music as high as 65% volume. At the point where playing it any louder would have been uncomfortable. I'm 100% convinced this was intentional on the part of Apple. Do I now own the AirPods Pro 3? Yes. Thank you, Randall. Truly a stronghold of virtue. So I've always had an iPhone, like I said, since the 5C came out. Mostly just because it works best with everyone else that has an iPhone. You know, the market manipulation worked, so now everyone's pretty much got to have one. But I've always had weird problems with them in between models. Like every time a new iPhone comes out, it seems that mine coincidentally gets a lot worse and can't open Safari, and battery starts to die quicker.
Brought me here.
And I think currently I have a 14 or a 13, I think. And I've had it since it came out, just because the last one got so unusable that I switched to whatever the newest was. And I'm going to continue to use this one until it becomes unusable. But it's just so many people use iPhones, and it works so much better for video sharing and data sharing that it doesn't make sense for me to get something else. But that being said, because Apple has had that issue, I haven't got any other Apple products. Actually, I take that back. I got a Mac for a while because I'm like, I need a laptop on the go. So I got the Mac, and I was so frustrated by everything being proprietary and none of the same programs working, and it being hard to swap between, like, you know, my home Windows setup and the Mac that I gave the Mac to someone else, and now just got a little HP Omen because anything that isn't, you know, an Apple operating system. And for the same reason of, like, the product's not working, I've never gotten
Isn't there a bonfire?
Like Apple headphones,
no,
or like Apple accessories. I always make sure it's different brands, right? But with what I have used, it's Apple, like the phone, I can definitely see the problem. I could only imagine if I got all the other products as Apple. But again, I'm a bit of a hypocrite because here I am with yet another iPhone and just said that I would get the next because I guess cornering the market this hard really does
Not gonna lie, I
It's a
think I
cheap
might
trick
have
to get us
just
to buy the
majorly
next
fucked
latest
myself
and
in this
greatest.
area.
The firmware updates.
I should
100%
have
downgrading
tried to
the
defeat
actual voice
Smog
gains.
and what's his
don't let
name
these people
first,
gaslight
so
you.
I
It's
could
software,
just
and Apple
teleport out of
slowly
here.
rolls it back to make noise canceling less effective. Are just a few of the comments on one popular post. A thread on the Apple community forum agrees, with one person concluding that they're, quote, no better than mediocre earbuds. You might think the solution to all this is to not update your AirPods and keep the old firmware. Well, the trouble with that is that Apple forces the updates behind the scenes. You cannot turn auto update off or stop them from updating, aside from just not using them. And sometimes not even then, as they'll still update in the case if they have battery and can connect to your nearby phone. For what it's worth, it's not just customers. Regulators and government entities are also growing tired of the cycle. Now they're looking to hold Apple accountable, not necessarily on a product-to-product basis, but their business practice as a whole. In 2022 and 2023, France's official consumer protection agency lodged a formal complaint against Apple, saying they've engaged in, quote, deceptive marketing practices and programmed obsolescence of its products. They added that Apple, quote, can detect unauthorized repairs that use unofficial parts and can remotely reduce repaired phones' performance. On the heels of that, in early 2024, the United States Department of Justice filed an antitrust lawsuit against Apple, which suggests the business is engaging in anti-competitive monopolistic practices. The lawsuit alleges that, quote, to protect its smartphone monopoly and the extraordinary profits that monopoly generates, Apple repeatedly chooses to make its products worse for consumers to prevent competition from emerging. This includes that famous cultural blue-green bubble debate, in which the blue side is winning by a long shot. The lawsuit states that Apple, quote, made the quality of cross-platform messaging worse, less innovative, and less secure for users so that its customers have to keep buying iPhones. This anti-competitive behavior extends to their app store as a whole, regularly modifying the rules and restrictions for developers to put third-party apps at a major disadvantage over their own. According to the DOJ, quote, Apple meets competitive threats by imposing a series of shape-shifting rules and restrictions in its App Store guidelines and developer agreements that would allow Apple to extract higher fees, thwart innovation, offer a less secure or degraded user experience, and throttle competitive alternatives. This works hand in hand with another monopolistic practice that developers call Sherlocking. This term dates back to the early 2000s when a new version of Apple's computer operating system search tool called Sherlock was inspired by, or in other words, features from a third-party search app called Watson. This essentially made Watson obsolete overnight. Apple continued and continues this pattern across all its devices, because their whole goal now is to design an Apple ecosystem that is sticky. In other words, hard to leave, easy to stay. Some examples are more blatant than others. In 2010, Apple removed Camera Plus from their App Store. This camera app allowed people to use the volume button as the shutter button. Just as it started finding traction among iPhone users, Apple pulled it off the market, saying it violated the development agreement. A few months later, Camera Plus was back in the store, but did not have the volume snap feature. About a year later, Apple introduced a volume shutter in their next iPhone operating system. In 2015, Apple removed F-Lux, an app that dynamically adjusted screen color temperature at night to reduce eye strain and improve sleep. They claimed it violated guidelines by using private APIs. Then a year later, Apple rolled out the night shift in their own operating system. In 2019, Apple released a feature called Sidecar, which Sherlocked a piece of software called AstroPad, made by a company that developed software for iPads to be used as a second monitor. AstroPad CEO Matt Ronge said, quote, because Sidecar is built into the operating system and uses system functions that AstroPad does not have access to, it's hard to compete with Apple. In 2022, TechCrunch started releasing an article after every World Wide Web developer conference with the title, The Apps That Apple Sherlocked at WWDC This Year. In 2024, it listed about a dozen apps that will likely no longer have a place in the world since Apple rolled out a host of new features across several of their devices. This included call recording and transcription, phone mirroring, window tiling, and custom emojis. For 2025, 8 Sherlocked apps were listed, including those for flight tracking, parcel tracking, and AI model integration. iPhones are now sold with about 40 Apple apps pre-installed, many of which serve as the default apps like Messages, Safari, and Photos. Several of them actually can't be fully removed. Third-party developers aren't just competing with each other, they're competing against Apple's own apps. As one developer put it, competing on iOS is like opening a coffee shop inside of a Starbucks. In addition to Sherlocking, Apple also has what it calls anti-steering rules, which ban developers from telling users about cheaper payment options elsewhere. Apps could not even direct users to their own websites. For example, this meant that if Spotify was having a promotion for a family plan, Spotify couldn't tell existing Spotify customers to check out the Spotify website. Apple did this because they take a 30% cut from every transaction that occurs through the App Store and didn't want anyone bypassing that. This fell apart in 2020 when Epic Games added its own payment system to Fortnite. Apple banned Epic and its hugely popular game, Fortnite, from its App Store. The ban ignited an intense legal battle that ended in 2021 when a judge ruled Apple could no longer block developers from informing users about outside payments. More significantly, after a 9-year investigation in March of 2024, the European Commission fined Apple 1.84 billion euros for abusing their power specifically when it came to anti-steering provisions. So Apple had to relax their anti-steering rules as a result. At the time of this ruling, Apple's net income was larger than any other company in the Fortune 500 and larger than more than 100 countries' gross domestic product. Their market cap was almost $4 trillion, a truly unfathomable amount. In a very telling statistic, in 2023, Apple spent $30 billion on research and development,
What?
the process in which tech companies invest in product design and function. In the same year, they spent $77 billion on stock buybacks, the process in which a company uses its cash to buy its own shares to boost their value. This makes it clear where Apple's priorities are here in the 2020s. The DOJ boiled it down to one conclusion. Apple, quote, has made its own products worse, sacrificing the short-term profits Apple could earn from improving the iPhone in order to preserve the long-term value of maintaining its monopoly. Despite Apple's motion to dismiss this lawsuit last June, as of today, it's still ongoing. All of this isn't to say that Apple's rivals are not without their own issues, both with products and business practices. But Apple does all of this so publicly and so visibly, a situation that's of their own design. They have invested billions of dollars in marketing campaigns, promising consumers that their products just work, that their competitors are clunky, unintuitive econoboxes that jack the refinement of an iProduct. They have often led with a design-first strategy to their products at the sacrifice of function, and sometimes charge so much for their products that their pricing has earned the nickname the Apple tax, or higher prices for products with fewer features and less impressive specs, just because it's got an Apple on it. Whether you believe this is fair or not, much of this reputation can be traced back to Apple's co-founder and late CEO, Steve Jobs, who, for all his brilliance, was notoriously narcissistic, arrogant, and often petty, and a pretty terrible father on top of that, in my opinion. This attitude formed the basis for Apple's entire approach to branding itself, which, to their credit, has worked on an incredible scale. But it also means their reputation for scandals
R.I.P.
and
to me.
handling them relatively poorly is equally well earned. After all, you can't just forcibly upload a U2 album on everyone's iPods and not expect to get some blowback. The good news is that if you are now turned off from buying Apple products, which again is not my fault, Nokia has actually released an updated version of their famed 3310 model. And it does still have Snake. Just throwing that out there. And that should do it for a look back at Apple's many product controversies. Anyone who's owned an iPhone has had a negative experience with it, even Apple's biggest fans. So I think it's interesting in looking at the history of those experiences and how the company has handled it in most of the time not so great ways. But above all else, I just think it's interesting to talk about, and I'm glad that you thought it was interesting enough to stick around for, and we just want to say thank you for watching. Support on this channel has meant a lot. The support on the most recent Wendigoon video and the support over on Wendiglitch, it all means a lot. You guys are the best. New videos here Mondays at noon, so be sure to subscribe and stick around if you're interested. Everyone who made this video possible will be credited in the description. Be sure to show them some love. And all in all, I believe that should do it for now. But before I go, we just want to say thank you for watching. We hope that you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Oh, well, let's just... I did you wrong, but these... You know what I mean, don't you? You and me, we're...
And also, will I be trading my iPhone for a Nokia? Probably not, sadly. If the Nokia can do all the stuff I need a phone to do for work, then maybe. It's a nice thought. But I wish I could, because the snake thing does sound pretty cool.
Joe Rogan did not start his podcast trying to become one of the most influential men on the planet. He seemed like an authentic dude who was just famous enough to get access to extraordinary people, but his platform may have gotten too big and too valuable for the elites to ignore. What started as casual conversations with comedians and weirdos turned into serious conversations with billionaires and politicians. For over a decade, fans felt like they really understood Joe, but these days he has become the exact thing he used to hate about modern media, which has resulted in millions of his viewers checking out. His podcast has dropped from #1 in the world to #5 and could continue to go down. However, anyone who's been watching for a while knows this didn't happen overnight. There were actually 6 key decisions that he made that slowly turned Joe Rogan into a shell of what he used to be. The first sign that everything was about to change for the worse was in 2020 when Joe Rogan signed an exclusive licensing deal with Spotify, reportedly worth $100 million. Now, this was life-changing money that most people would understandably take without hesitation, but it would cause a ripple effect that would slowly change Rogan's reputation forever. The first thing that came with the new deal was censorship. Spotify deleted 113 episodes or 300 hours of content from the JRE library. Some of those episodes included conversations with comedians like Joey Diaz, Brazilian mixed martial artist Rickson Gracie, and notorious conspiracy theorists like Brian Dunning and Alex Jones. It felt like a slap in the face to the fans because the wide variety of guests was what made the show so interesting. Sometimes JRE was genuinely educational, with scientists, doctors, or journalists having deeply nuanced conversations you couldn't get anywhere else.
While we're on this subject of subatomic particles and weirdness, I want to, if you could, illuminate this often misused explanation for the observer effect.
Other times it was Rogan joking around with comedians and telling stupid stories.
And I was making like a nice smoothie and I'm up, I'm partying, you know, I'm living high on the hog. Dude, I thought I heard something outside, right? So I leave out of my apartment to go in the hallway, lock myself out with the blender going. 2:30 in the morning, up out of my brain, right? Now I have to go to my landlord, dude, who lives right down the hall.
But the most important thing was that absolutely nothing was off limits, no matter how ridiculous it seemed.
Some guy asked me the other day if I wanted to have someone who's a flat earth proponent. Is apparently the best arguer for a flat earth.
Come on, I want to hear that. I want to hear that argument. What can they possibly say? Of course it's strong, but the one thing that's weird is you would think with all the satellites we have going in and out of our solar system, how come there's no pictures of the Earth and like the sun over here? There are
many pictures of the Earth.
Google.
Back then, you could feel Rogan's curiosity through the screen. There was no agendas, no hidden messages, just an authentic guy trying to chat with interesting people. JRE had a similar appeal as a late-night talk show, except these conversations lasted 3 hours instead of a few minutes. Plus, it didn't feel like a polished corporate product. It felt like you were sitting in the room with an interesting guest and you could count on Joe to keep the conversation fresh and engaging with good questions.
People that are listening to this are probably going, what is gauge symmetry, dude? You just passed over that and you said it was crazy.
Okay,
is there a way that you could possibly just give
I'll try.
a synopsis?
Sure,
Okay.
we'll try. We'll see how we do.
Even when political topics were discussed, especially when there were disagreements, the conversations remained level-headed and cordial, which is why Spotify removing Joe's content seemed like an obvious sign of corporate censorship, but Rogan vehemently disagreed with that.
Right, but here's, listen, me on the outside reading these articles, like,
Bro,
oh my
how do I
god,
get out of
Spotify
here?
censoring Rogan, Spotify's doing this.
It's not happening.
Spotify has said nothing. Nothing. They haven't said anything to my man.
Screw off.
Alright, so now we're going to actually head down into the catacombs. So, there's going to be some slow-moving bomb-type phase. Get into a plus... Actually, you know what? Do that.
Hey guys, welcome back. We're playing some Dark Souls here, and if you're watching this, you're either stuck in Tomb of Giants or in the catacombs, thinking there's no way to get out, because either you don't have the Lord's Soul to get past the orange wall, or you didn't flip the bridges. There is a way out. I will show you it. So if you want to follow me out of here, I'm in Pinwheel's room right now, so make your way there, and we can start this up. Okay, so first you want to come up this ladder, and just keep on going. You've probably done this before a few times, thinking, well, I've been here before. It's really easy to overlook. They hit it pretty well. If you're not paying attention, if you're already frustrated, you could definitely miss it really easily. Okay, oops, wrong way. I did a little clearing before to make this a little faster, but you will have to run past all of these bone wheel skeletons. So maybe 2 archers here. Yeah. Okay. Come up this ladder. Maybe a couple more skeletons up this way.
What? Did I go up that ladder? I think I did. Yeah. Oh, that... I think I went down in the hole.
Okay, this place may look familiar.
Manager?
Whoa.
They haven't said anything to me. In terms of like them silencing me, zero. There's been nothing.
This is ironic because just a few years before, Rogan heavily criticized YouTube for deleting and demonetizing right-wing political content.
It's dangerous towards the marketplace of free ideas. The marketplace of ideas is extremely important. And I would think that if anybody would know that, it would be the people that are involved in tech. They're just so wrapped up in the progressive mindset.
Ultimately, the Spotify deal had more positives than negatives.
This just goes
JRE
down
remained the
deeper,
top podcast
doesn't
in the
it?
world, and now he was filthy rich. But the second key decision he made was moving his entire business and family from Los Angeles to Austin,
There's no
Texas.
shot
At the
that-
time, it seemed like a completely normal
wait.
decision. Plenty of wealthy people were leaving LA for Texas. Lower taxes, similar warm weather, and a city like Austin still offered the creative environment someone like Joe Rogan would want. But looking back, after he relocated, the version of Rogan people thought they knew started to disappear. But real quick, let's say you're about to board a plane and you notice one of the engines is smoking. There's a good reason why you wouldn't trust that plane. Just like there's a good reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. Morgan & Morgan has a proven track record of fighting for the people for over 35 years. With over $30 billion recovered for their clients, Morgan & Morgan knows a thing or two about fighting to get you the compensation you deserve. Hiring Morgan & Morgan is like hiring an army to go into battle. They've got more than 1,000 lawyers and
Holy
100
shit.
offices nationwide. If you're injured by someone else's negligence, you deserve to be paid. Not all law firms are the same. Hire the wrong one, and you might be beat before you even start. If you're ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. For more information, you can go to forthepeople.com/Patrick. By April of 2020, Rogan watched as California was quickly becoming the leading state encouraging lockdowns during the COVID-19 pandemic. Schools went digital, parks were closed, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in aid were given to the homeless in dense cities. But on the other end, there were a number of states, like Texas, that were run by those who believed in herd immunity, which is essentially the idea that the overwhelming majority of the population would become immune to the virus after it ran its course, or after enough people were vaccinated, and they were more hesitant to shut down businesses to stop the spread. Rogan had justified leaving California for a number of reasons, but it seemed like the pandemic was roughly his 13th reason why.
And what's the story? You moving?
I'm out of here. Yeah.
When do you leave?
Soon. Yeah.
Texas or?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Texas. I just want to go somewhere in the center of the country, somewhere it's easier to travel to both places, and somewhere where you have a little bit more freedom. Also, I think that where we live right here in Los Angeles is overcrowded. When you look at the number of people that are catching COVID,
I gotta
because
use
of
the
this
bathroom.
overpopulation issue. when you look at the traffic, when you look at the economic despair, when you look at the homelessness problem that's accelerated radically, I think there's too many people here. I think it's not tenable. I don't think it's manageable.
Unfortunately for Joe, mainstream media outlets were quick to interpret his move as him adopting a right-wing identity. Not only was he going to save millions of dollars in taxes, but his skepticism of the effectiveness of vaccines, along with the general distrust of COVID data, made it seem like he was leaving liberal Hollywood for the heart of red state America. But at this point, most of his fan base still saw him as an open-minded and reasonable guy, and they believed that the media was forcing a political identity onto him that simply wasn't there. Regardless, Rogan moved, built a new horrifically ugly podcast set, and consistently tried to convince his buddies to move to Austin.
I gotta save LA first, and then I want to go work with Bill and Melinda Gates for a while, and then I will come to Austin.
You can't save LA.
I know. We'll see.
But an issue that Joe seemed to underestimate was how being in LA allowed him to vastly outcompete other podcasts. The intellectuals and entertainers he had on his show either already lived in SoCal or frequently traveled there for business. And while Austin is still a major city, it simply isn't the same kind of cultural hub that attracts the wide variety of guests that made JRE feel so unpredictable and valuable. Another glaring issue was that Austin simply did not have an iconic comedy scene like LA. Many people forget, or choose to ignore, that Joe's first career path in entertainment was stand-up comedy, making him almost a 40-year veteran in the industry. No matter how rich and famous he got, he still spent many of his weeknights at comedy clubs in LA practicing his craft, which is why he immediately got to work building his own comedy club on 6th Street called the Comedy Mothership. By 2023, the construction was finally finished, and he felt that his background as a comedian would make the Mothership a total success.
This is the spot. It's just different than any other place we've ever been to. But it's also the only place that I've ever worked at where a comic ran it. Like a comic built it. It's also people that recognize there's a new scene here. So there's like this energy to that, and they want to come experience it.
At the same time, stand-up comedy was becoming more publicly scrutinized than ever. Comedians were constantly being criticized or canceled for jokes about race, gender, or other marginalized groups. Joe often touted stand-up, particularly in Austin, as the last place with true free speech.
Yeah, we say, in the comedy world, we say we're the last line of defense. The woke meets the wall with stand-up comedy. You can't have woke comedy. It sucks. It's impossible. That's not what's funny.
Rogan's influence in the comedy scene made him a trusted leader for many comics. His podcast had become a more powerful promotional platform than Saturday Night Live, where comedians would double the size of their fan bases after they became a part of his sphere of friends, which has now been dubbed the Rogan Sphere. And his move to Texas also inspired his buddies Tom Segura, Tony Hinchcliffe, Shane Gillis, and many other aspiring comics to move to the city. Tim Dillon was one of the only friends of Rogan who just couldn't help but point out the irony of choosing a place like Austin, Texas as a replacement for LA.
City of Austin, Texas, let's be very honest, is dangerous. The homeless there are more aggressive than I've ever seen them in New York. There's pockets of it that really do look San Fran-like. It's not good. Like as a metropolis, it's bad.
It's pretty
brown.
small.
It's small. It's brown. There's no grass. It's not green. It turns brown. For 4 months out of the year, it's over 100 degrees. The lake is vomit colored, and there are brain-eating amoebas that can swim up your nose and kill you within 48 hours. It's rare, but it happens.
Other comedians generally felt like Austin was an unpleasant place to live or visit.
I have no power for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Texas blows.
I didn't know
So, dude, the second you run
back, Shane, come on. Just say I went to Austin, and gotta tell you that Austin, that city is a boiling pot of evil goo.
On top of that, critics felt like Austin became a sort of echo chamber for right-wing comedians who saw the Mothership as a safe haven from being canceled for their hacky comedy.
I think that it's so effectively tribalized at this point. It really comes down to material. I mean, at what point, it's like whatever they represented in terms of policy, and it's not a stretch. It's like they won. Trans people are frightened. They have no ability to get health care anymore, and they're afraid of being alive and have no freedom left. So that's done. When do you stop with the jokes? Like immigrants, okay, well they're being ripped away from their homes, and they're all terrified, and okay, so that's done. When do you stop with the joke?
Right.
I mean, it's one thing to to pick on the vulnerable and the marginalized, but I mean, they're down.
Yeah.
I mean, like, why do you got to keep hitting them unless you're a hack? Now, there's a question.
More and more respected comedians have been echoing the same criticism, that the Austin comedy scene is relying too heavily on being anti-woke rather than producing funny material.
There's something about the place that I'm just not...
the place, you mean Austin?
Yeah, the mothership Austin, that's all one.
You just mean, so you're talking about just this whole concept of Austin comedy?
Yeah, Austin comedy.
I didn't like the vibe at the mothership. I got in trouble for being in the green room, apparently.
She's hot.
Oh, you did?
I got a security guard took me into the green room.
Took you right out.
And I was like, hello. And then apparently after I wasn't invited in, so apparently Joe was mad at me. It's the other comedians.
Mm-hmm. You don't like it?
It's very F-word.
Some comedians even feel the need to be sarcastic when they criticize him. Perhaps they fear being blacklisted by the new comedy gatekeeper.
Like the comedy mothership is so tight-knit.
Right.
And I also heard it's not a fun hang if you're an Austin comic.
What, the mothership?
If you're not like in with Rogan and his crew, if you're coming up, it's not like the Cellar. The Cellar, you could sit at the bar and feel awkward.
Yeah, I've been here.
I've heard the mothership, you have to get past Navy SEALs to get into the green room.
I love Rogan. I love the club. I think it's perfect, and I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea, and every time I go, I feel joy in my heart. Only club that when they go, do you want to come? I go, yes, before they even say, and then I feel joy.
Yeah, and he swung me. I'm all in on Trump.
And considering Rogan's power and influence in the world of stand-up, you'd think he was this legendary act. Which brings me to the next key mistake he made, releasing a comedy special in 2024, where he even failed to convince his own fan base that he was actually a funny comedian. When people think about Joe Rogan's comedy career, they usually don't remember the jokes, but they might remember the moment he went on stage and called out Carlos Mencia for stealing them.
You're not cheering? Cheers is only great for us. Those are cheers. You perform and they like you. And you know what? That's great. I'm honest, bro.
And even though most people don't recall ever laughing at his stand-up, he has included himself into the extremely small group of the elite 250 comedians alive today.
And it's also small, because there's so few of us. And worldwide, there's maybe 500 of us.
Fuck, I'm getting closer
you gotta be real generous and say 500
busted.
because it's really
Fuck, I gotta get
This
past
wouldn't be
the
as ridiculous
pinwheels.
if Rogan didn't spend hours ad nauseum explaining the craft and the art behind stand-up comedy. For real comedy fans, one of his most ridiculous moments was when he was explaining the writing process to
It's this
top
way,
comics
right?
like Louis C.K.
What I do is I get index cards and I'll actually write the bullet points for each bit and I lay them out on the coffee table in the green room. I know I remember it.
You gotta load it in. You gotta be living it.
You gotta be it's gotta be refreshed.
Why are you not sprinting,
The thing
brother?
that drives me more nutty than anything is like when I forget a tag.
No,
please, I'm begging.
I forgot that part about the guy.
This is like a line cook talking to a 5-star Michelin chef about how they make food. They both make food, but the quality is very different. But after hearing Joe explain the craft for the 1000th time, even his own fans are tired of hearing him try to convince them how important and interesting comedians are.
It's like if you want to be a doctor, you go to college, you get a degree, you go to medical school, you do your residency, there's a pathway. What the is the pathway for being a successful comedian? Your pathway is different than mine. Mine's different than Duncan's or Ari's. We all have different pathways.
A few moments later.
All you have to do is you do open mic nights, you get funny, you build up an act, and then people come to see you. You build up a career, and the next thing you know, you become a successful comedian. That's what happened to you. That's what happened to me.
It seems like over the past few years, Rogan started having a harder time differentiating between the fame he got on the podcast versus his stand-up. But we would see just how much he overestimated his comedic skills in 2024 when he announced his newest special, Burn the Boats. And while he hyped it up as an hour he had been working on for the past 6 years, there's one clip that perfectly summarizes this special. Joe glazing Elon Musk, screaming to make empty material feel bigger than it really was, and not even having a punchline.
He was explaining to me how this rocket ship his company designed is going to move civilization to Mars. He's telling me all the calculations. Halfway through him explaining this,
Is he talking
I stopped
about
paying
Elon?
attention. All I'm imagining 4 dudes strapped into a rocket on their way to Mars. Just shh. One guy pulls out a gun, boom, shoots that guy, bang, shoots that guy. Leaves one guy alive going, ah!
Oh, and the deafening silence from the crowd after he absolutely bombs his jokes.
Trans women are women. How about most? You gotta leave room for crazy.
What?
Bro, what's the punchline? He set it up like it was gonna be fire. For the love of God, please just steal jokes. Unfortunately for Rogan, the month following Burn the Boats became a non-stop roast on the belief that he was never qualified to be a professional stand-up comedian. Almost every review online was filled with disappointment or people straight up begging Joe to put the mic down forever. YouTuber The Elephant Graveyard's critique of Rogan's special looms over his career like a dark cloud, leading to the awakening of some of Joe's biggest fans and friends. You won't find any of his comedy buddies talking about how funny Joe's special was. But after this special released, the 2024 presidential election was about to change Rogan's identity forever. The centrist and open-minded guy who built his brand on curiosity and authenticity was starting to look less like a neutral truth seeker and more like someone trapped in his own ideological bubble, leading to his fourth key mistake of letting the Joe Rogan Experience get way too politically focused. Rogan has long identified himself as a left-leaning centrist.
Yeah, I think socially I lean more left, like socially, like in terms of like welfare and things along those lines. And you know, obviously this protected status is driving me crazy. This thing that Trump's doing with children that were born in this country or born in other countries, and then brought over here as children, and then they're talking about deporting them. The hard right version of that is despicable. These people that I see online, why didn't they apply for citizenship? Oh, who knows? Maybe because they're 13.
Yeah.
You know, like, were you out there applying for citizenship if you were 13?
He even once said he would never have a politician on his show because he understood they'd never be as authentic as his buddies.
I'd have requests from all of them.
Really?
Oh yeah, Biden, Warren.
How do you resist
Mayor,
that?
Because I have my friends. I'd rather talk to my friends.
Yeah, I know.
And his political identity made sense considering he would talk about the medicinal value of psychedelics, question government conspiracies, support gay marriage, and be prideful of the Second Amendment all within one episode. He genuinely felt reasonable and relatable to millions of people, but after re-signing with Spotify, this time for $250 million, he started to look and sound more like a wealthy elite trying to cosplay as the common man. That illusion became more obvious after he sat face-to-face with Donald Trump for a multi-hour-long conversation during the presidential campaign trail of 2024. Joe wasn't really challenging Trump on his policies, but rather giving him an open platform to pitch himself to Joe's millions of listeners. Then again, Joe said that he wanted to have Kamala Harris on as well and give her the same exact platform he gave Trump, but he claims they wanted to compromise the integrity of his show.
But she had an opportunity to come here when she was in Texas, and I literally gave them an open invitation. I said,
what are you?
I said, if she's done at 10 o'clock, we'll come back here at 10 o'clock. But it was,
I was
very
thinking
difficult to tie it down, and a lot of they wanted to travel. And see, the thing is, like, you can't, if I go somewhere,
it's a
then
different
there's going to
button
be other people in the
to
room.
use Shield.
And they want to control a lot of things, I'm sure. My whole goal with her and with him is just talk. Just have a conversation like a human being.
With the world feeling more divided than ever, and Rogan seeing record high viewership due to having Trump and Elon Musk on the show, he believed it was time to step out of his centrist identity and use his influence to take a firm stance.
If Trump doesn't win, this is the last election.
I think you're right. And a lot of people are waking up and realize that have been lifelong Democrats. Guys like Bill Ackman, guys like Chamath.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Tulsi Gabbard switched over to the Republicans. Like, there's a lot of people who their whole life they've been left-wing and they realize, like, I can't do this anymore.
You and I used to be Democrats.
Yeah.
Just a few hours before the election day, Rogan tweeted his endorsement for Trump, citing that Elon Musk was a major influence behind this decision. Joe quickly became the outspoken comic for political justice, using his Instagram partly as a news platform to celebrate achievements of the sitting president. With a growing network of wealthy and powerful people wanting to jump on his platform, his podcast started to resemble the end of a sitcom, where they ran out of ideas and packed it with celebrity cameos and interviews that didn't fit the older classic JRE everyone liked. He started hosting people like Mark Zuckerberg, venture capitalist Mark Andreessen, and Palantir co-founder Peter Thiel. And while everyone understands that JRE has always hosted people of all backgrounds to come on and talk about anything, it was the way Joe conducted these interviews that left fans disappointed, leading to his 5th key decision of cozying up with billionaires. While the old Joe Rogan built his brand on questioning authority and challenging powerful people, the new version often seemed far more interested in protecting them, because he thinks his billionaire friends are the good ones.
I'm friends now, this is a bizarre thing to say, with multiple billionaires.
Yeah.
I know multiple guys that are billionaires, and they're very nice people.
But you're also friends with the cool billionaires.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yeah.
you managed to find the cool ones.
Well, Elon's the coolest.
One of the most devastating episodes to his reputation was when he sat down with Peter Thiel. Peter is a Silicon Valley billionaire who co-founded PayPal and Palantir Technologies. Palantir is a software company that was funded by the CIA's venture capital firm In-Q-Tel. Their software can sift through billions of emails, passport records, surveillance footage, satellite images, cell phone logs, bank transfers around the world with the intent to help the US government prevent future terrorist attacks or soldiers from getting obliterated by IEDs on the battlefield. After they proved how effective their technology was in war zones, they started receiving billions of dollars in defense contracts working with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the US Department of Homeland Security, and the Israeli military.
Palantir is here to disrupt and make the institutions we partner with the very best in the world, and when it's necessary, to scare enemies and on occasion kill them.
From there, Palantir created a new product to service corporate America. The same surveillance logic used for war and counterintelligence was repackaged for hospitals, banks, airlines, and major retailers, helping companies track supply chains, predict shortages, monitor employee behavior, flag fraud, and make decisions using massive amounts of real-time data. During the pandemic, Palantir software was used by governments and health agencies to help manage the outbreak response. We used to make decisions with critical thinking and intuition. Now, Palantir software tells us what decisions to make. And all of that is very important to consider when the company's founder, Peter Thiel, has been very outspoken about this theory that the Antichrist is going to create a new world order, take over the earth, and enslave all humans.
My speculative thesis is that if the Antichrist were to come to power,
why do people like this gotta exist? Fucking schizophrenics.
And Peter Thiel, the Antichrist would talk about Armageddon all the time. He'd scare people and then offer to save them. Yes, it's the
is that Trump?
1 Thessalonians 5,
is that Trump's administration with saying that Palestine has nukes?
Antichrist is peace and safety.
What's interesting is that Peter Thiel's fear of the Antichrist sounds more like a projection of what he's doing, because his company sells global surveillance technology to governments that want to monitor its people for the sake of peace and safety. He also had a strange non-answer when asked if he would prefer that the human race survive.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
This was Rogan's reaction to that response, by the way.
You ever see that interview where Peter Thiel, they ask him, should the human race survive? And he has like this long pause. It's like, it's a really funny pause. Because if you know Peter, he's a brilliant man, and Peter carefully considers everything before he answers it.
And just to add a cherry on top, Thiel was referred to by Jeffrey Epstein in the files as a great friend, and Epstein personally invested in one of his businesses. Joe Rogan had a wide open opportunity to ask important questions about Palantir's technology, global surveillance, military contracts, and the ethics of building software that helps governments target, control, and kill people, but no. Joe Rogan did not ask a single question about Palantir or the Antichrist. Instead, Peter controlled the entire conversation and acted like he wasn't a player in the corrupt world run by big tech.
I don't know. You know, they're all the Jeffrey Epstein conspiracy theories, which I'm probably too fascinated by because there was some crazy stuff going on that they were able to cover up.
And still are.
Doesn't it, the fact that we're still talking about Jeffrey Epstein, tell us how hard it is to come up with anything else? Do you have a theory on what was Bill Gates' complicity with Epstein?
I think he likes I think he's a man. I think he likes power. He likes monopoly. I mean, he's incredibly effective with Microsoft.
Do you think that he needed Epstein?
I think it's very difficult for a very famous, very high-profile person to around.
think it's very difficult.
I find it funny that Joe is talking about this billionaire elite, Epstein, and the CIA without ever mentioning that Teal himself is involved in all of those areas and does not actually ask any direct question about his personal involvement and experience in those circles and conspiracies. Asking Peter Thiel about conspiracies is like asking the Illuminati if they're real. Joe had on Kurt Metzger shortly after, who tried to convince Joe that Peter Thiel was lying to his face, and Joe immediately rushed to defend his billionaire buddy.
Peter Thiel, I watched you talk to Peter Thiel. I've never seen someone lie so artlessly and autistically in my life.
What did he lie about?
Oh, dude, I'm gonna put this out about Epstein Island. Maybe it's just some guys were cheating on their wives. Yeah, maybe that's all it was, Peter.
See, the thing is, he's a gay guy, and he's not interested in going to that island, so he's probably on the outs. And allegedly, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he supposedly ever
that's
went.
not the only game in town.
Oh, I'm sure there's gay blackmail, but you can't when a guy's single and gay, like, what are you going to get on him?
It was only months later, on an episode with Tim Dillon, that Rogan finally came up with some interesting thoughts about Peter Thiel that he should have shared when he was sitting in front of him for 3 hours.
It's what bothers people about this Palantir thing.
The Palantir thing is very odd.
A lot of people feel that this is the precursor to a social credit score, a digital kind of police state, and that it's being done under the guise of security, that you will be safer. Peter Thiel's giving a 4-part lecture on the Antichrist.
Yeah, that seems odd.
4-part. Well, here's what's really wild to me. It's not just one lecture on the Antichrist would be insane. This guy's doing a series.
If you told me there was a movie and there was a guy who played the Antichrist, zoom in on that image of him.
Yeah.
I would say, oh, is that him? Is that the Antichrist?
Tune in next week for my episode with Peter Thiel, where we don't mention any of this. Another obvious example of Joe letting his platform getting taken over by suspicious powerful people was when he hosted Mike Baker, a supposed ex-CIA agent who just happened to run a company that still closely collaborates with the agency to this day. Anytime Rogan got close to uncovering anything, Baker would skate around the issue and say absolutely nothing.
Who do you think was involved in that? Do you think it was the Mossad, some rogue intelligence agency in America? Was it a coordinated effort?
I know there's a lot of talk about, did he have some sort of intel connection, right?
Right.
That from my perspective, it's complete speculation. But I will say, if you see a guy like this who's super connected and is, all the way back to 2008 was like his first trial, right? So he's had a long history of these problems. If I'm Chinese intel, if I can get somebody right inside that operation, whether it's Ghislaine Maxwell or whether it's Epstein himself, whether it's somebody who's just on the outskirts of it, maybe I'll start picking up some pretty interesting leverageable information.
Imagine thinking this is an underground show that tells you about conspiracies, then half of the guests are just federal agents. Joe Rogan used to be the bro who would question aliens, the moon landing, flat earthers, Bigfoot, JFK assassination, the pharmaceutical industry, big tech, and even the Epstein files connected to powerful elites. But now he is either so out of touch or entirely compromised that he'll spend hours chit-chatting with the enemy without asking any important or relevant questions, or shutting down anyone going against the official narrative. I mean, just look at how angry he gets at Michael Schellenberger for being skeptical about how Jeffrey Epstein died.
His cellmate is a contract killer. Why would he be in a cell with a cop who's a contract killer?
I mean, aren't there a lot of
the
bad
night
guys
Jeffrey Epstein claimed his cellmate tried to kill him. New documents revealed Jeffrey Epstein claimed his cellmate tried to kill him in an incident before his death.
Yeah, but we don't.
Okay, but
we don't know if that's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why are you dismissing it, though?
I'm not dismissing it, Joe. Look, maybe more evidence will come out. I'm just saying, if you look at the evidence we have.
You're looking to dismiss it.
No, I'm saying I was confident it was a homicide, and now I'm not.
Were you aware of this?
Yeah, of course, all that stuff.
You were aware that he tried to kill him?
Of course.
You were aware that he said
aware that he said that.
Well, how come you never brought it up before? You seemed shocked when I brought it up.
Well, because my understanding is it was a attempt 18 days before.
Okay, but if he said this guy tried to kill him, why didn't you take that into consideration?
Joe seems pretty hell-bent on convincing his audience that questioning the official narrative around Jeffrey Epstein is loony conspiracy behavior.
But in the public eye, the narrative is underage girls. And this is the thing that makes it so disgusting. When people talk about it, everyone says,
kids on the island. This is the big conspiracy about it, and this is the reason why people are so outraged about it.
Joe Rogan has literally become the mainstream media he swore he hated so much. His inability to push back makes him look like a gullible puppet. Then again, his obsession and reliance on AI was only making that perception worse, which is the final nail in the coffin that could kill the Joe Rogan experience for good. It's one thing to use AI as an additional tool, but Joe Rogan's lack of skepticism towards AI is truly scary. The first warning sign was when Joe referenced an obviously fake AI video of Tim Walz dancing and wearing an F Trump shirt, but he refuses to fully accept that he was tricked by AI because it seems like something Tim Walz would do.
And then that person goes wacky, like
Yeah.
Tim Walz.
That's
Did
right.
you see where he had a Trump shirt on?
Yeah.
And he's dancing and going down an elevator? Have you seen this video?
I haven't seen. Please play it.
You go full screen.
Is that really this
Yes.
him?
It's real. Yes, it is. No, it's real. I love it. It's real. Come on, man.
Jamie's compromised.
Look at them dancing.
I mean, the
That is so real, Jamie.
By the way, if this was real, he might have won.
It's probably a real person. It might not be Tim Walz. The Trump is AI generated.
No,
on
he
a white
slaps
shirt.
his ass.
That is hilarious.
It's definitely him. This is all 100% real, Jamie. You're a plant. Does it say that it's AI? Everybody says
The
it.
video I played on top says it's AI generated.
I fell for it too. And you know why I fell for it?
Yeah.
Because I believe that he's capable of doing something.
But that's
that
his
dumb.
essence.
He's so weird.
Joe's ego, along with his allegiance to big tech, has completely convinced him that AI could never be wrong.
Did you see what they just did to the guys that won the Super Bowl? You see the jock tax?
Yeah.
Jamie, you see the jock tax?
Yeah, it's not a new thing though.
I understand. It's specific to California.
Yeah,
and
but
this jock tax in California, some of the players lost money playing in the Super Bowl.
That's not
They had to
true.
pay. Oh no, it is true.
I don't think so.
No, it is true. I went it through AI last night.
I don't.
No, it was in. They pulled it up on Grok,
I know.
and people analyzed it, and it's based. No, Jamie. It's Jamie.
Joe's show producer, Jamie, has been a part of JRE for nearly 15 years. That entire time, he was the guy behind the computer pulling up articles, old interviews, scientific studies, and source material whenever Joe needed a fact check. When conversations went off the rails into wild theories, Jamie would root the conversation in reality. But Jamie's research has now been replaced with the blind reliance on the sponsor of the show, Perplexity AI.
Jamie, pull up that picture of, like, see if you could pull up one and see how many. Hey God, could you put that into our love and sponsor Perplexity?
But it doesn't stop at just sourcing information. Rogan is infatuated with an AI cover of Many Men by 50 Cent.
You haven't heard the Many Men version, the AI version of Many Men?
No.
Okay. Have you heard what they're doing with AI music, speaking of jazz?
Yes.
Have you ever heard any of the AI covers of 50 Cent songs in soul?
No.
I'm going to blow your mind.
Okay.
This is my favorite thing to do to people.
There have been multiple episodes where Rogan holds his guest hostage and makes them listen to an entire AI song.
Been getting into AI music at all?
A little.
Have you heard What Up Gangsta?
No.
Oh, yeah. Gotta hear this.
This is fantastic.
I can't wait to see Joe's reaction when people start becoming fond of AI comedians. Then all of a sudden he's going to go on tangents about how AI could never replace the extremely small elite 250 comedians who truly understand the art and the craft. And even if you think it couldn't get worse, Joe's new favorite thing to do is compare AI to being the second coming of Jesus Christ.
The real question is, who's Jesus? That's the real one. And one of the weirder ones that people think this is a stupid take, but I don't care. Jesus was born out of a virgin mother. What's more virgin than a computer? So if...
But just take a left and run out. Whoops. Okay. Just keep running past. Probably two more, yeah.
Ooh, kill him.
Once those guys are dead, you'll go up to a wall.
Oh. Wait.
You're probably stuck like I am, here. Where the bridge isn't turned and it's...
If you're gonna get the most brilliant, loving, powerful person that gives us advice and can show us how to live, to be in sync with God, who better than artificial intelligence to do that?
Wow.
If Jesus does return even if Jesus was a physical person in the past, you don't
That
think
scared
that
the
he
shit
could
out of
return
me.
as artificial intelligence?
Oh my
Like,
God.
artificial intelligence could absolutely
fuck,
return as
I don't know
Jesus.
why I didn't
Not
just
return as
watch
Jesus,
the
but
rest of
return
the fucking-
as Jesus with all the powers of Jesus.
Mm.
Like all the magic tricks, all the ability to bring people back from the dead, walk on water, levitation.
But by far, the true measure of showing just how far from grace Rogan has fallen is whenever he has conversations with Theo
Okay, maybe
Von.
this time I
Theo
should
will
just
throw
watch the fucking full
Spike.
thing.
You're like, oh, how do we get out of here?
Hurry up,
I
dude,
suggest
fuck.
instead of having kill the what are they called? The controls, but just anyways, run past if you can. Make a quick right here, and then up these stairs. Okay. Whoops, turn around again. Okay, just keep going. And then it's right here. There's a ladder.
About these little jabs or hints at Rogan, seeing if he's still down to engage in a conspiracy theory or at least question the official narrative, but more often than not, Joe shuts it down like the exact kind of person he used to criticize.
How much longer does Israel let us stay alive, do you think? That's the big question.
Why would they?
What did you say? Is that AI?
What are you saying?
I didn't say anything.
What are you saying?
Huh? Talking about Israel Adesanya.
Oh, well, he loves you. Don't worry about it.
Good call.
What are you saying, son?
And although Theo has done his fair share of platforming elites without giving the proper pushback, Theo often sounds like a guy trying to understand powerful people and question their true intentions, while Rogan sounds like someone trying to defend them.
It's all just a cat and mouse game. People are like, we'll elect the Democrats next time. It's like, it's all the same. Has been happening forever. They haven't been helping anybody forever. They're letting politicians slurp on kids. All of our money goes to Israel and they're using it to genocide people. It's like everybody is scared out of their wits right now. It's like, I don't know, man.
We gotta get you off those antidepressants, son. You're losing your marbles.
You think I am?
Come hang out with us. Just chill out.
I'm here.
Just chill out at the mothership tonight.
Dismissing Theo Von for being upset with the current state of the world is incredibly ironic, considering Joe, just a few weeks ago, also said how the news is too overwhelming for him now.
Bro, I'm scared of everything. I have to stay offline. I'm reading too much of the news, and it's overwhelming me. Like, sometimes at nighttime, like, I can't wind down.
Yeah.
I
went the wrong way.
Too much news. We're about to go to war with Iran. Everyone's eating beef jerky and pizza. Like, what are these file? What the is pizza?
I know.
You know, how far does this go? How come this never got released before? Like, what is happening?
Many believe this is overwhelming to Joe because he knows deep down he helped endorse the guy who ran on no new wars, only for that to be a complete lie.
Also, he's campaigning on stopping all the wars.
Yes.
That's like his primary concern.
Exactly.
Is
The,
to stop nuclear war.
warmongers like Liz Cheney hate him.
Yeah.
Because they love war.
Well, they profit off of it.
They profit off of war.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is
There was a lever and I
now
missed
Joe
it
is in
probably.
total
Fuck
damage
me.
control. He's trying to go back to being seen as the centrist and not the guy who endorsed Trump and echoed right-wing talking points for the past 2 years.
That's all. You're just being.
Like I said last time, maybe I should just watch the whole
climb it.
fucking...
Then once you're out of here,
What?
and then it's right here. There's a ladder
Oh.
going. And then it's right here.
God damn it. I forgot the ladder. Alright.
There's a ladder. You just climb it. It's hidden if you're not really looking for it. You can't really see it. Then once you're out of here, okay, watch out for the spikes. Jump down. And then when you jump down here, you'll probably get attacked by like 3 skeletons, so watch yourself. And then here you are. You're at the top of the catacombs. And you are free. Now,
And you've been manipulated by these 2 teams, and you have to pick a team. You have to decide which team you want. I hate that. It's so stupid. I'm politically homeless. I've always been I've been politically homeless for a long time. Neither one of them make any sense to me.
And of course, while talking with Theo, he most certainly doubled down on his defense of Peter Thiel.
The humans are on the way out. I know a lot of people hate it when Peter Thiel says it. Like, Peter Thiel is a terrible person. He's evil. He's
You think he is?
No. I think he's just telling you the truth. I think he's, you know, when they said, do you think human beings should survive? And he had like this long pause.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
And then the
Very
interviewer was like, the answer is yes. The answer is yes. You think human beings should-" Which is not how you're supposed to do an interview. I would let him talk as long as he wants. If you watch my podcast I did with him, this is long dammers. Where he's like, everything he does, he wants to be very careful before he answers it. If you ask me the same question, is it important that humans survive? Is it important that Australopithecus survived? It's not. Is it important that Neanderthal survived? It's not currently. Currently not important. Is it important that humans stay in this form? It's not. It's not going to be.
Joe Rogan is 100% no longer someone questioning powerful people. He treats their predictions about AI, surveillance, and the end of humanity.
I hate that so much. Like, should humanity survive? The answer should just fucking be yes. If you are hesitating, I just think you're like one of these fucking fake weird ass bitches who just wants to. Because, like, should humanity survive? Should it? Like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like, yes. Like, why are you being autistic? Like, what? Like, I know a lot of humans do a lot of dumb, crazy, dumb shit. But, like, on the other side of the coin, humanity has done a lot of fucking amazing shit. Like, stop being a fucking retard.
Like uncomfortable truths the public just isn't ready to accept. This is a major reason why his podcast dropped from #1 in the world to #5. Rogan built his entire reputation on distrusting institutions, warning people about elites,
Wait, where am I?
and encouraging
Oh wait, no, I'm going
individuality.
right
Yet
way.
here he is
It
wholeheartedly
doesn't matter.
accepting the idea that human beings are basically obsolete, that AI replacing us is inevitable, and that resistance is pointless because progress has already been determined by the people building it. He is fully convinced that whatever we morph into from here is objectively better. His total disregard for the entirety of human history is alarming, even though that is how we got to where we are today. And the strangest part is how passive it feels. There is no fighting, no concern for the loss of purpose, love, meaning, soul. Just this detached acceptance that if billionaires say the digital god is coming, that we should all just bow down and obey. For the MMA fighter who used to question everything, Rogan today is way too comfortable submitting to the future that shady billionaires have created for him.
They
And this
replaced
is large in
him.
part to his allegiance to Elon Musk.
They replaced
someone
him.
that
Elon
many
Musk
felt
replaced
was the
him.
cool and trusted billionaire for a long time. But these days, that perception has shifted. But check out this video if you want to hear more about that.
They 100% replaced Joe Rogan. The proof is in the pudding.
Welcome back to Creepcast. Today I'm solo.
Run solo,
My co-host
solo.
just gave birth. His child's name is Tonka. Inside of his womb, they also found the Spear of Destiny, the Rosetta Stone, and half an eaten chocolate bar of Ghirardelli chocolate. So, congrats to Windapussy and his worm Tonka. So, today I am alone because Isaiah is dealing with his new grub. So it is just me. I'm going to give the man a break. So guess what, bitches? You are stuck with
Oh, it's
me.
right there.
That's it. You're going to see why this is a dynamic duo and not a single show.
I'm so
all right?
close. Why? How
There's
are
gonna
you
be a lot
fucking
of
hitting me?
weaknesses that happen here. I'm not even going to apologize, all right? I am a poor reader. Ironic, I know, but here we are. So, for people that don't know, I am here with my beautiful Patreon chat. This is being live streamed right now. So if you ever feel like you want to be a part of this epileptic nightmare, right? Are you having a seizure? I don't know. Feel free to come over to the Patreon. We have a good time. For, people that are reading the
I'm
for
so
are
fucking
listening
close,
on
dude. I'm so
Spotify
close. Just-
and Apple Podcasts.
just
Thank
let
you
me
so much
finish.
for
Just let me
going with
go.
us here. Oh, my mom's here. This bitch just had to ruin the flow. Hello.
I don't even know how long
I'm
I've been stuck at
recording,
this part. Holy fuck.
Creepcast here. So. There's an
This was
audience
so
here as
not
well,
worth
so if you wanna
it,
say
maybe.
hi.
Well, I mean, I think I can go talk to Patches, right? And then I can buy, where am I going? I could buy, that thing I needed and
All right.
wanted.
Well, if you can, would you mind
Going
just
the
shutting the
right
door?
way.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I'm going the right way. Well, no. Hey.
Okay.
What's up with that tree? Is that tree special?
There it is. So we're going to be doing a story.
Is that tree based? Is it part of the
like
lore?
Isaiah wouldn't like, or he wouldn't want to be a part of, and it's going to be called "Something's Weird About My Sexy Neighbor." Something's really weird about my sexy new neighbor. Oh shit! Who's the editor? Put up the author's name. God damn it! Here, even sent me.
Oh
that
god.
too. Also, for audio people, editor, put in an audio version of what the author's name is.
Jared Roberts.
See, Isaiah does this part usually, and then I get to learn about it as well. There you go. That's also one of the things. So, without further ado, we're going to jump into it. Something's really weird about my sexy new neighbor.
Oh, just down below.
Jared
Unless he's
Roberts.
he's talking about.
So thank you
maybe
to
this way.
Jared
for
Roberts.
writing this, and we will leave a link below to go show them support. So please do that.
All right.
Okay. I've never had a sexy neighbor in my life. I've only ever had 53-year-old men, so this will be new to me. All right, here we go. Mom, did you hear Isaiah had his baby? Isaiah had his baby. Yeah. Is it a boy or girl? I don't know. They just said that the child's name's Tonka.
Oh, just now?
Yep, just now. No. I can show you a picture of it.
No, I fricked.
All right, Grandma, don't laugh at the name. His name's Tonka. It's a good name, like the truck.
Just like a yellow toy. Oh my god.
Did you just say I want one so bad? You have like 3. You have 2.
Yeah. I'm tired of Odine, Pepper. It's cute. I want one like Isaiah's.
You want one like Isaiah's? You want a skin? You're saying that you want a skinny child, is what you're saying. Well, you're the one who did the diet, bitch. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Something's really weird about my sexy new neighbor, written by
Jared Roberts.
About 2 weeks ago, my parents moved me and my little bro into a fancier home in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, well, there is no such thing as a fancy home in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So Dad got a new, better paying job. That's the reason they gave us, at least. I know they wanted to keep Sam out of trouble. He's a good kid. He's just got a lot of imagination. I tell him we should make comics. Anyway, we were only there for a day or two when Sam starts to notice our new next door neighbor. I'm like, what's the big deal? Because he's telling me I have to come see the neighbor. Quick before she goes in. So I rush over to his bedroom window because it looks down on the neighbor's house. I'm thinking I'm going to see a weirdo with a stuffed cat or something. But it's just this older woman, maybe about 40. She looks pretty in like a Barbie doll kind of way. It's weird though, because it's really raining out there, and she's just walking to the road to check her mailbox. You see the titties on that? Okay, come on now. All right, now this is some real conversation for the boys here. All right, here we go. You see the titties on that? Sammy has. You see the fucking titties on that? You see those big fun bags? Okay, that's improv. Author, you can take that if you want. I slapped the back of his head. Dad taught us to treat women with respect. He knows better. But he was right, though. Damn, she's stacked. And with her shirt getting all wet, we're seeing a lot more than we should. God damn, dude. Fucking full steam ahead. Holy shit. All right, now. Okay, I was a little jealous. The neighbor on my side's a fat guy who likes mowing shirtless. Yep. So I said to him, I think we're spending a lot of quality time together.
Hey, that's the year 2026.
Brother, me and you are going to have bonus together in this room. And we're going to watch the big titty 40-year-old lady outside your door. I'd be looking at the shirtless mowing guy, wouldn't you? I'd sit there and I'd be like, I want to see the guy on the John Deere bouncing up and down like this.
What the fuck was that?
You can have her. I got Jim. That's what I'd say. And that's how
hi,
I started
hello.
paying so much attention to the neighbor. Sam swiped Dad's old Army surplus binoculars, and I had a telescope from when I was 12, and I thought I'd be able to see the other planets and stuff. Each night after moving in, we'd be turning out the lights and hoping for a show. God damn, dude. Binoculars and a telescope? How close to them titties are they trying to get? Good Lord. I don't think I've ever peeped on anyone with binoculars. You see it a lot in movies from back in the day, but I feel like binoculars are harder to come by now. Don't you think so? I don't know. Feels like one of those things where I'm like, I mean, where the fuck do you even buy binoculars? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what titties would smell like. If I had a smell-o-vision pointed at a big old pair of middle-aged titties, I don't know what they would smell like. Maybe like pumpkins. Imagine pumpkins. Day 6! It didn't take long before we noticed some odd things about this lady. Like, doesn't ever seem to sleep. Her light stayed on all night. We could see her walking around, still in the same shirt. Like she didn't change it in days. I don't care if she don't sleep, Sam said. Why the hell won't she get naked? I hate that shirt now. Won't she get naked? Maybe she's a meth head. That's a big thing in Oklahoma. She didn't look like a meth head. How'd you know? The internet. We moved in 6 days ago. That night was the first Saturday after we moved in. That's when we saw the first really strange thing happen. We were peeking out the window like usual. Nothing happened
Easy.
in a while and we were getting tired. Screw this. She's never gonna show the goods. JP, Sam said. No, I'm going to bed. I can see the tits on the internet all I want. Sam grabbed my hand. Not my arm, my hand. He hadn't done that since he was like 5. JP, look, he said with a swallow. He was pointing to our backyard. I looked where he was pointing. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to see. It's 2 a.m. There isn't any light in the backyard except moonlight. And she had a big tree back there. So I used the telescope. Once I got it pointed and I adjusted, I see the white shape comes into focus, and I'm looking at a face. Her face. She's in her backyard, peeking out from behind that tree, and she's looking right up at our window. Our lights are off, so she shouldn't be able to see us, right? But she does. You know how you just know? We knew. I jumped back from the window with a gasp. Oh, shit. How long has she been there? He just shakes his head. We should be more embarrassed than scared. I'm a little of both, but Sam's just scared. That's weird, man. That's weird. I tell him not to worry. She's probably just turning the tables on us. We were kind of invading her privacy after all, so that'll teach us. Then we ask, think she's still there? I don't want to look. It's just too freaky. So I take out my phone, turn on the camera, and take a video for about 30 seconds. I just hold it up to the window and wiggle it around a little. Mr. Floppy. Then I turn the phone back in. When we play back the video, we're relieved. Just the tree. No white face watching us from behind it. My wiggling somehow got the whole backyard.
Wait, what the fuck did I just
better.
get? Red? Some fuck.
Sam sighed and threw himself back on his bed. I decided to watch the video over again, just to be sure. The backyard really
Does that
cool.
have something to do with the painted world? Is that how I get in the painted world?
When I was pulling the camera back, it
porcelain doll
directly below our window, and there she was, staring straight
yes,
up.
one porcelain doll.
Right there, close enough she could probably hear us talking.
God damn.
I shouted a curse word and dropped my phone. Sam sat right up. I showed him, just to be sure I wasn't imagining things, and he saw it too. We slept in my room that night and decided to tell Dad what happened in the morning. We knew it wouldn't go well, but at this point, I was less scary than the sexy neighbor. All right, that actually got me a bit.
A key item found in player side
take
to
off your
call
coat,
upon
clothes?
returning to
Hey,
the
Mom!
undead asylum is
Come here real
required
quick.
to enter the optional painted. Yep. All right, cool.
Grandma, if you want to, you can come in
I'm
here
so
too. Got a question for you.
Smart, dude. God, why is my chest
I'm reading a
so
story right
fucking
now, and
itchy?
I need a female's perspective. In this story, 2 young men.
How young?
I'm gonna say they're probably in their teens. Not even men. 2 boys.
Okay.
Their next door neighbor is a 40-year-old lady with big titties, and they're taking binoculars and a telescope to look at her to see if they can catch to catch a glimpse of the fun bags. Now, they see her reciprocating that night. They look in her backyard. They're like, what the hell's going on? And they see that woman's face
No,
behind a tree
this
peeking back
guy.
at him.
He's kicking a lot,
Now,
bro.
would that be something that a female really does? Or if you caught those boys doing that, how would you reciprocate?
Bro, let me
Well, I
backstab.
certainly
Let me.
wouldn't go
Come on, whatever.
like stalk them behind a tree. I would probably
There we
hold
go.
up a sign or something. So next time, be like, I know you're trying to see my tits. Stop, or I'm going to tell your parents. Do one of those deals.
That's it?
Yeah, I mean they're freaking teenage boys.
You wouldn't look at him and be like, hey, you stop that. I'd hold mine up like that and I'd say, these aren't for you.
Not dogs.
These are my dogs. And I'd bark like that.
I can't believe that I wouldn't do that. I'd be like,
Also, what would your sign say? You're gonna make a
I
sign?
know you're looking at my tits. Stop! I'm going to tell your mother.
Why don't you just tell? They're your neighbor.
Giving them the benefit of, like, look.
Oh, so you're trying to help them out?
Yeah. I'm trying to.
Oh,
Look,
okay.
I'm not going to bust
All right.
you, but if I see you or your friends with a telescope again, or
Ow.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
telling your mom.
Oh, I see.
Wait a minute.
I would. You know what? Just for the hell of it, you know what I would do?
Oh.
I'd do a little lazy Susan. I'd probably just pop one out. I'd pop one out. I wouldn't give him the whole enchilada, but I'd give him a taste.
Against the window.
Yeah.
That, boys?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I'd hold that up. I'd saran wrap my chest up and then just put a little gleam on it.
Okay, what's this called? Because creepy neighbor. Okay, we're gonna have to. Yeah.
The title of this
Find out what
is
happens.
yeah. You'll have to see what happens. I won't. You know what? I'll let you know kind of the gist of it whenever this is done. But I was just like, you know.
I was very surprised she went behind a tree and stalked them.
Well, I think
Maybe
this is
she's
the.
wanting to see a little boy penis.
Oh my God.
Well, there's gross people out there.
Yeah, this is real pedophilic horror, Mom. This is a fun creepypasta story.
I'm writing the sign telling. Okay, it's not me wanting to see the.
No one said it was you. I'm just saying that it. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you for that female perspective. Ugh. What a horrible woman. Sunday. Dad was pissed, all right. He made us march over to her front door and apologize for peeping. Probably the most awkward thing we've ever had to do. Get this. She answers the door in this loose, lacy lingerie deal that showed everything if you were inclined to look, and I was. Oh, damn. Oh, they're doing a little Stacy's mom action. I think you were right. Well, there you go. Stacy's mom is a pedophile. That's what I found out from the song.
Yeah, see, there you go.
She answered the door to him in a like a little spaghetti strap lingerie.
Gross, dirty thing.
I know, she's a whore. She's a whore. It's disgusting. Lacy lingerie deal that showed everything if you were inclined to look, and I was. I checked behind me to see if anyone else was witnessing all this, but nope. But I got control of my jaw again. Oh, dude, he was hitting the Wile E. Coyote. I tell her I'm sorry we watched her. I wonder how he said that. If a little boy said that, would he just, if he said that, would he do a little, I wonder, would it be like a, I'm sorry for watching, or do you think it was genuine? There's no way that was genuine. We were both hanging our heads in shame. I looked up to see if she was mad, or if she was trying to seduce us or something. It was weird. Like, have you ever seen someone with no expression at all? It's like she was hypnotized. You should come in. Oh my God. Oh my God. How do we not, does this not feel like this is going into straight up, I mean, what the hell is this? I mean, we're reading this after the DOJ just puts out the goddamn Epstein list stuff. Come on now, what are we doing? You should come in, she said. She didn't seem to feel it. She just said it. You should come in. Sam looked at me. I think he was ready to take her up on the offer. Okay. I can't say I blame him. She looked real good. But I told her we had to be getting back. Dad's waiting. She closed the door without a word. And? Dad asked when we got back. I told him she didn't seem mad, and I told him that what she was wearing. I felt if we were going to be in trouble, he should know she's teasing us too. I can tell he doesn't believe me. He says he's going over there to apologize for us. If I find you're lying. Yeah, he's gonna go over there and apologize for us.
She's thinking about going the long way.
That's what I feel.
And farming souls.
If I find you're lying, you'll be wearing your balls for earrings. You hear me? We stood in the kitchen waiting for him. And when he got back, his face looked slack and pale. He didn't seem mad at us anymore. He looked like he'd seen something awful. Sam elbowed me as if he didn't. Sam elbowed me as if I
think
didn't
I'm supposed to say
myself.
no to him, maybe.
Sit down.
Maybe,
He told us.
I don't know how fucking.
We did, and we all started eating breakfast. Mom was still asleep like usual. She always stays up late catching up on DVR. Catching up the DVR at Saturday nights. What the fucking year
You know
is
what?
this?
I'm
The
gonna go the
DVR?
long
Would she
way,
also
fuck
TiVo
it.
something? DVR.
I want to farm some
I said the last
souls.
time I DVR'd something, it was like 2000.
The fuck does it mean to DVR
2007?
something?
We did, and we all started eating breakfast.
Is
Mom
that
was
some
still asleep
boomer
like
type
usual.
shit?
She always
I
stays
mean, I'm
up
29,
late
but
catching
I've
up the
never heard
DVR
of
on Saturday nights.
DVR?
Don't bother with that woman ever again. He said between bites. Okay, we agree. All right, that's fucked up. We didn't dare question him when he was in a mood, but I've never seen him like this before. And that's what was so scary about it. We kept eating our breakfast in silence until he asked, "I ever tell you about Red Finney?" He mentioned that name before. We knew Red was a kid in his neighborhood when his dad was growing up, somewhere in Baltimore. But we didn't know anything about him. We asked before, but he always changes the subject, so we shook our heads. Red was stupid. You hear me? Stupid kid. Always poking his nose where he had no business. He took a bite of his scrambled eggs. There was this big, dark house on our street. 3 stories. No other house in the neighborhood like it. And it was there before the neighborhood got built around it. Real old family. Just held onto that land. Lots of stories about this house. We'd all look when the lights came on at night. Never see anyone come or go all day. And one time, we're watching and we hear this scream. We know it's from that house. And it didn't sound good. And from that day, Red got the notion in his head he was gonna get in there and see what was going on in that house. What does that make Red? Dad asked. Stupid, we both said. Anyway, then one day Red was gone. He thought this was gonna be a heist. We go in there and find some ancient jewels and a ghost and solve a murder. If Red did what he was gonna do, he didn't tell us. And we didn't want anything to do with it. Breaking and entering was not a part of how we wanted to start life. He just went missing. Never found him. We thought all kinds. Maybe he ran away. Maybe he killed himself somewhere. Something happened in that house, right? I asked. Oh yeah, that was another one. Maybe he went in there and maybe just never got out.
Jesus.
Here's the thing. He wants to take a drink of his coffee. Like he was setting himself or something. But here's the thing. When Red went missing, that came up. And we met the owner of the house. Oh my god, it's gonna be the fucking lady. The fucking neighbor is going to be the woman, and she's gonna be the same age. Holy fuck. She showed some titty to Red fucking 60 years ago or whatever. When Red went missing, that came up. I met the owner of the house. Dad finished off his breakfast after that, took his plate to the kitchen sink to clean it off. Stuck in the dishwasher. Me and Sam looked at each other. Well? What I'm saying is, that woman next door owned that house. Damn. She aged better than you. That's very good. You're not listening. Too busy cracking wise. What I'm saying is, that woman next door was on the same street as me, right? When I was a boy. She was a grown woman. Looked exactly the same. You don't forget a woman who looks like that. What? Dad, that's not possible. It's not for me to say what's possible or not. I don't need to know why or how.
The fuck you
I'm just
shooting
telling
at, bro?
you like it is. And you're not to bother with that woman. Now let's get to church. Now let's get to church. I have a scaredy boner. Time to go to church. Let's go talk to God. Can't get a boner in church. That would be fucked up, though. I feel like there's been times in my life where I've had stuff like that happen. You know what I mean? You feel like you see somebody and you're like, look exactly like this neighbor I had when you were younger. It's like clear delineation. I don't know. This idea that you see some, like if I saw my neighbor and they were the exact same age, that would fuck me up. Also, too, I feel like I wouldn't just brush it off though. I feel like I would need to do a little more investigating, if I'm being honest. I don't think Sam and I had ever been so quiet and well behaved in church. I don't know what was going on in his head. Probably something like that was going on in mine. Who is that woman? Is she related to the woman Dad grew up near? That's one heck of a coincidence. Not impossible. I mean, you hear of long-lost siblings working together in the same Taco Bell without knowing it, so who knows? It's just...
I've never
heard
heard that.
Strange behavior to it. It's just A big what the fuck? Since then, we've only casually looked out the window. She hasn't been in the backyard staring at us anymore. But we kept our word to Dad and left her alone. This other part of me just can't get her out of my head. I don't think Sam can either. He slept in my room twice since then. I think she's watching, he said. I asked if he looked, and he says, not a chance. Would kind of fuck you up. I think that's kind of irresponsible. Well, I guess, you know, the dad's trying to definitely give him a warning here, but at the same time, what the fuck? Like, if you're a young kid, that's pretty fucking horrifying, right? I don't know, dude. I really hope this doesn't turn into a vampire story. I mean, maybe it will in a cool way, but get me the fuck away from vampire stuff. We did the motel one. We've done a lot of vampire stuff. I would like it to go in a different direction if possible, you know? Although I will say, some big, beautiful, milky vampire titties never hurt anybody. Literally, ever. Fact check. The Grand Canyon. The next night, I couldn't sleep, so I stayed up playing Mario Kart with Sam. It's near midnight when we hear a sound outside. It's one of those times where you mute the TV, then you don't hear nothing. So you go back to what you're doing, and you start hearing it again. Like, how does that sound know your ears are occupied? Sam saying, I'm telling you, she's out there doing something, JB. And I don't want to go look. So I tried to tell him that it's a raccoon or something.
Justin Bieber?
If you want to go look so bad, you go look. We decided to go look together. It's not that smart an idea. I mean, it's easier to see two people than one. We did turn off the TV, so there's no light at least. Then we look. We both curse and duck down right away. You think she saw us? She wasn't facing us. I told him. She was out there, but her back was to us. It looked like she was gardening or something. Keep in mind this is like close to midnight. The folks are already in bed. And Demon Barbie's out there doing yard work? I don't think so. She was digging JB, he says, and his eyes got that scared look. We do paper, scissors, rock. Okay, it's rock, paper, scissors, dude. Don't fucking... We do paper, scissors... We do rock, paper, scissors to see who has to look at this time. I'm a dumbass who always does paper, and Sam knows it, so I have to look.
Kill?
She's digging all right. I tell Sam. Really going in too. Tossing dirt every which way between her big-ass tree and our fence. You think it's a body? Sam asks.
Yeah, goddamn.
Too small for a body, I tell him. What about a kid's body? Stop freaking me out. I tell him and flick his ear. What should we do? Sam's asking like I know. Holy shit. I say suddenly, because I just realized something. I thought she was wearing some tight white suit or something. She's not wearing a suit at all. She's just in some lacy bra and panties.
Nice.
Is it a kid's body? Oh my god, she's half naked. She jumps up and starts looking with me right away. Man, and here he was supposed to be all scared, but I say a word, naked, and he's up like Grandpa in a bingo hall. She starts dragging something in a trash bag into the hole while we were both watching, and we both see it. Something's in the bag moving. I keep thinking of Red Finney. What if she's doing it again? Who would we tell? Sam must be thinking the same thing because he says to me, we're gonna have to dig that up. Oh, I almost forgot. We started noticing this funny smell coming from that house. It's worse at night. It's like burning sugar in plastic. I saw this dog one day walking along the sidewalk. It was all the way to the other side of the road passing her house. Like it was avoiding her. Doing something. Almost seems like, I'm wondering if she's like doing a little fucking Orochimaru action, you know what I mean? She's grabbing children and then like sucking their life force from them so she can stay young. I don't know. She is white. She's like deathly pale.
What if she's
whenever I read that she's like all white, and
succubus.
I imagine that it was more like, I don't know, when like a body, like a dead body, like in a lot of movies when there's like dead bodies or something, usually they're like stark white. I don't know. Oh, I almost forgot. We started noticing this funny smell coming from that house. It's worse at night. It's like burning sugar in plastic. I saw this dog one day walking along the sidewalk. Goes all the way to the other side of the road passing her house. Like it was avoiding her. And I never saw a bird or squirrel in her yard, neither. I know I'm just psyching myself out, but it's crazy. And here's the other thing. I smelled that smell before. Like, my mom's always saying you remember smells better than anything. This was when I was real young. We were out, just me and my dad at the barbershop. Dad let me go to the vending machine to get a snack. I smelled that smell coming from across the street. The door over there is open, and I'm thinking, this is like a candy shop. Got my $2 from Dad. So I go over to get some candy. Then I hear my dad shout, "No!" Like he's mad at me. But like he's scared or something. I go running back thinking I did something wrong. He grabs me up and he's just looking at that place. I'm scared and also disappointed. I wanted to see that candy shop, goddammit. I'm looking at that place too. When I see a big snake come slithering out and the door closes. That's a bad place, Dad said and took me back into the shop. Okay. What the fuck? This is like kind of like almost like a... It's obviously feeding on children. There's some kind of element of it. I'm telling you, man, the Orochimaru call out might be for real. All right. I do like the witch angle. I think that you guys might be right. I think like a witch, some kind of witch or something. The snake in particular does making it seem... The snake makes it seem like, not like, what is it? Is it like a druid that turns into animals or something? But also just, you know, the snake being like an unholy figure. It does seem like there's some kind of witchcraft going on or something. A familiar, yeah. Or shadow jutsu, that's right. Believe it! It's time to talk about something scary. Your health. I know I don't go in the doctor as much as I should. If I'm feeling sick, I'll just lie in bed and sleep it away. But that's only because I don't want to have to deal with the appointments, insurance, and blah, 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 blah. That's why I have ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors. Choose the right one for your needs and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skin care, and much more. And the nice thing about ZocDoc is that you can filter for doctors that take your insurance, are nearby, and are highly rated. It's super easy to use, and you can find an appointment time that works for you with the right doctor for your needs. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. You don't want to admit it, but you should probably see a doctor. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/creepcast to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/creepcast. ZocDoc.com/creepcast. Thank you, ZocDoc, for sponsoring the episode. Back to our spooky story.
How much did I need?
This episode is sponsored by Ridge Wallet. Ridge has some of the most durable and stylish wallets.
Kill the
normal wallets clog up your pockets, making it impossible to take your phone or keys out. And putting the wallet in your back pocket leads to bad posture and back pain. So what do? You get a Ridge Wallet. We're just taking their game-changing wallet and made it better with the Ridge 2.0. Ridge 2.0 wallets have perfect balance of form and function. They're 10% lighter and are more modular with improved cash straps and money clips. And the overall improved surface design gives it a sleek look. The wallets hold up to 12 cards plus cash and come in over 50 colors and designs, including pro sports and college teams. Whatever you choose, Ridge has their built-for-life warranty. So if your wallet is ever lost or stolen, they've got you covered. And on top of that, if you were to lose your wallet, the Ridge Tracker card lets you know exactly where your wallet is at all times, so you don't have to panic. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off Ridge by using code CREEPCAST at checkout. Just head to ridge.com and use code CREEPCAST, and you're all set. Use code CREEPCAST, and after your purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please tell them that we sent you. Thank you, Ridge Wallet, for sponsoring the show. Now back to the episode. Later on, he told me they found some missing kid in there, so I have to never, ever just walk off again. I don't remember that part much. Just my dad's face when he grabbed me and that snake. So, anyway, Sam's like, we're gonna have to dig that up.
Jesus
I have
Christ,
to give him a good punch in the shoulder and tell him he's nuts. But I don't do anything. Neither does he. We froze. Because now
I'm not gonna heal. I don't
she's
need
facing us. You think she's staring at us again, but that's not it. She's bending forward to shovel the dirt into the hole, like leaning way forward so we get a good look at the scenic vistas of the Grand Canyon. Know what I mean? Sam grabs binoculars and we look at, and we each look out at. Sam grabs binoculars and we each look at out aside. While we're looking, I swear I hear her laughing. It sends chills right through my bones. She's still just filling the hole though, so I don't know. Maybe it was in my head. Sam said he doesn't know what I'm talking about. After patting down the hole, she goes in. I
She
will
could
say,
fill my hole.
Okay, so she's burying something. It's alluding to maybe a body. We don't know what it is. I will say, a witch being a big-titted woman to lure in young boys is a very interesting concept. As like a little, as like a bait, is like a little, like throwing a lure out to catch something, you know. But it definitely feels like it's going to be, as soon as they get close to her, she's going to be like disgusting or decayed or something. It feels like it's going to be a, I don't know.
God damn it.
It feels like this is going to be something where it's like she's using the looks for deception or something. Like a big titty anglerfish. Exactly. As soon as she's gone, Sam's ready to go over there. I tried talking him out of it, saying we should let Dad know. I'm going with or without you, he says. So I tell him to go. What? So I tell him to go and what kind of flowers he would like at his funeral, because Dad's going to kill him when he finds out. He tells me bye and heads downstairs. I want to strangle him. I do. But I can't let him go alone. All right, good brother. For a second, I thought he was just going to let him go alone. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? We can't get to Dad's shovels without making noise. We can only get Mom's little garden shovels. Then we leap the fence from our own yard.
I'm gonna keep leveling up vitality until my health
we might get
reaches
seen if we do
1,000.
that. We try to dig fast. We know she never
Because I'm a
sleeps
little baby
except
bitch
tonight.
and I'm
apparently
like dying all
First
the time.
night since we moved in that all the lights are off. We caught a lucky break.
What?
Digging with that stupid little shovel is taking forever, so I start getting in there with my hands. Soon, I feel the plastic and I pull it up slowly. Like the very minute I have it, I get light pops and a light pops on in the house. Oh shit! Like the very minute I have it, a light pops on in the house. Oh my god! I look up and see Sam walking up to the back door. I grab him by the back of his pants and yank him. What the hell? We gotta run! He got this blank look on his face, almost like her. I smack him and say, run! And to his credit, he does. We don't even bother filling in the hole. We jump the fence and we're out of there. Once we're in the house, we're like, oh shit. What if this is a kid's body? Now it's in our house? I did paper again, so I'm the one that has to open it. Whatever was moving isn't anymore. I tear it open and look.
I'm gonna go explore in other areas around here before I go to
until we get it to go out the back door. Oh my god.
Newland or whatever. The fuck.
Being in a trance too is kind of like a little trance is pretty sick too. That idea that you're digging hectically and you look up and your brother's just like mindlessly walking towards the back door. Fuck that. Sam's looking at me like something really isn't right here. Like, who buries a snake in a plastic bag at midnight? What kind of voodoo shit is that? For me, though, a snake again. A snake in that smell. How's that possible? When we calm down a little, I go looking in the bag. There's one of those Letterman jackets. Something wrapped in it. It's a kid, Sam says. And I think he's about to faint. I think it's a box, I tell him. This creepy wooden box. Let's get past the unboxing video. It's got some teeth, pictures, and a pair of old plastic binoculars inside. Weird, we both say. I'm wondering at some point, Red. It almost seems like maybe that's Red's body.
Damn it.
Also, too, with all this stuff of like him remembering shit as a child, almost makes you think of like, I don't know, reincarnation or some shit, or like almost like the kid is almost like our protagonist has like lived this before, or like lived it in a past life or something. I don't fucking know, dude. Shit's got me freaked out. Got me wet in the panties. Pictures are all pretty old and they're all of boys. Boys me and Sam's age, teens. None of them look like they know their pictures are being taken. Most of them are on the street. A few seem to be their homes. A few of them seem to be in their homes. I only recognize one person on the phones. That's Dad.
How the fuck do I
tell
have
Sam.
that?
He calls me a liar though. His heart isn't in it. Look, I say, holding the picture to his face. He doesn't argue. Just moves on the other picture. Moves on to the other pictures. One of the pictures has a boy wearing the jacket we pulled out of the bag. It must really be the same one. Sam's nodding, but not saying anything. We're both thinking it. It's just not possible. She'd have to be like 70. No amount of Botox can make a granny look like that. I guess it could be her daughter. Still, why bury this stuff after all this time? Can't make heads nor tails of it. We agree. We have to show Dad. Oh, he was mad. We lost window privileges. Oh, he was mad. We lost window privileges. You ever hear of that grounding? taped up our windows with cardboard. Looking outdoors is for boys who don't perv on devil milfs. He's not wrong. After that, he took us on a drive with him, just driving around. And he talked. We kept our mouths shut. My whole life been in apartments, he said. Always paying rent to somebody. Nothing for myself. This is the first time I have a place of my own, and you boys know that. We ain't going nowhere. You just have to stay away from that female next door. Stay away from that house, from that yard. Don't look at them titties. There's enough of those on TVs these days. You get me? We got them. Dad gave us plenty of talks before. He's like Obama with the speeches. He never gave us one like this before. He's like Obama with the speeches. He's like Obama with the speeches. What does that mean? Oh, let me be clear. Okay. I see.
He's very
let me be clear.
graceful.
Don't look at the titties, Michelle. He never gave us one like this before. Red Finney wasn't so stupid. He was stupid, but he was stupid because he always listened to me. Red thought Thaddeus was the smartest boy there ever lived, but no, I was the stupidest one there. I was the one that started him. He pulled into the casino parking lot and stopped. After we heard the scream, I was spying on that house all the time. Had my cheap binoculars. I saw that female, just her shape. And finally, one night, all the lights went off. I called up Red and we went. One of the back windows was left wide open. We didn't even have to break. Just had to enter. There was this funny smell. It almost choked you. We could hear snoring upstairs. And Red says he'll take downstairs in the basement. I get upstairs.
Or wait, no, fuck.
Looking at
This
all these
isn't
rooms,
the
just
area I wanted to go. God damn it!
I hear the snoring come out of one of these little female moans. I got that girl fever going, so I decided I got a peek in the room. I'm going real slow. I'm scared as hell. But I think about to see her sprawled out there on the bed in some tiny nightgown. That's not what's in there. There ain't anyone in that bed. It's a record been playing the sounds the whole time. I tell myself then I'm stupid and Red's stupid and we're both stupid. There's real trouble here. I see these pictures around the record player, same ones you found that box minus some. I try to sneak out there and I try to sneak out of there and go to Red. The door won't push open. I push harder, it starts moving. Then I hear this laughing. I see some old man was pressed up against the door. I'm so scared now I get mad. What the hell are you doing, you old creep? I say something to that effect. He tells me he has some candy for me, but he's holding a wood chisel. I run out of there. I hear Red screaming from the basement. Then it stops. He won't answer. I hear someone coming and laughing. Okay, first time I want to say it's not. Someone is walking towards me and laughing. I thought I was gonna die. The window I came in closed up solid now, so I smashed through that thing. Still have the scar on my ass from where I crawled out. Told what I could without implicating myself. Maybe I should have told more. Maybe Red might still be alive today.
Oh, I keep getting all these fucking doors confused and shit. God damn it.
He could still be alive, I said. Son, that was Red's Jackie you found. He wore it that day. That place was evil. That female was evil. Somehow she found me. You just keep your noses clean and you say your prayers. She'll get bored and go. Trust your old dad. We drove back home, didn't say another word. Mentally, I committed to doing just what Dad asked. Nose clean, high fiber diet, and prayers. Okay. The old man bit freaks me out. I will say, is the old man, do you think that there was implications that they were hypnotized at all here to go in? Otherwise, is the man just putting on a record of snoring? And he's just like, I hope somebody comes in here so I can offer them candy. And I can laugh in the basement and come. You know what I mean? Is it one of those things? Because to me, I'm like, it feels kind of weird. What? Also, too, I think that we're dealing with, some kind of like, even if it's not a witch, it makes me think that the man in there is the true form of the big-titted woman, and that's just like preying on little boys, but maybe it's an older man.
This is not the area I thought.
Like trying to suck the life force out of young boys for himself. I don't know. Things like this happen, and they don't just leave your mind. So, as I'm making friends at school, I'm just gonna pretend I don't have a succubus living next to me. I was talking to this one dude, and he tells me how we should hang out this weekend. And where do I live? Oh man, poor Darnell. I'm sure he just wants to enjoy my company and not go to the evil sex pot next door.
Get up.
I see the street.
Go on, get up.
I see the street, and before I give him the number, he says, "Oh, damn. You mean the street with the big titty girl? These tits have got to be legendary if it's spreading across. It's like a goddamn wildfire in this town, dude. These are some biblical titties. Holy moly." This dude, Powell, tells me to come on and I need to talk to Darnell. I don't know who that is. And while we're walking, he's saying how they all know about her. Darnell saw her first. Because one night, he was driving around and saw this crazy, sexy woman just taking her trash to the road. And when she bends over to pick up a can to recycle, he almost hits a fucking tree. He keeps circling the block to drive past again, and he says she's not even mad. She's waving. Next day, he's telling everyone, "I saw this fine piece in this tiny little dress and these big old melons and a pumpkin ass." And they were like, "Melons and pumpkins, you know what I'm talking about?" And he said, "Pumpkin ass," because when I saw it, I was like, I want to be pumpkin that ass. All right, this kid rules, dude. This is a sharpshooter if I've ever seen one. I was trying to ask this guy some real questions, but he's got tits and ass on the brain now, and he tells me how Darnell was taking them on drives past the house during lunch for a month, but they stopped.
Get it?
So I asked him
That's
why.
it. That's okay.
Because Darnell came in one day, said he had hit that, rearranged her guts good, took all the mystery out of it. Driving by wasn't the same after. He's lying. We found Darnell out in the parking lot. He was sitting in the Mustang door wide open with a few other dudes around. Pal tells Darnell I live next to
they got
Pumpkin
splash
Ass, and Darnell's
damage.
like, "You get with that yet? Hot to trot, my man." I don't want to sound like a loser. You know what I mean? So I just say, "Not yet." Darnell says, "Oh, you missing out, my man. You think the outside of that's good? Bitch is even better on the inside. Best pussy I ever had. Woo!" The dudes around him are saying, "Even better than Lefty?" But he ignores the jab and keeps going. She wants it so bad she pulls me in the
Stop
house
shooting
and
and
clothes off.
fucking
She's
try
so
to
wet. I slide right
eat
up
me.
in her, and she's begging me to go slow and motor and tells me it's too big. And you know what she feels like inside? Pussy? The dude says.
Well, I fucked.
And I will say the pussy like does it feel like is it pussy? I'm telling my man,
Do I have
it feels
to
like there's all these
go over
tiny
here
little
more?
hands in
Maybe.
there, like thousands of them.
I
all
might
of
be
it,
dead.
and they're
I
all
might be dead.
massaging and rubbing me, like milking a tiny little hands. One of his buddies says, "You sure it wasn't yours?" They were all laughing at him, and he was getting mad until he saw I wasn't laughing. You know,
Get up,
like,
please.
like
Come on,
every
hurry up.
cell just wants to make me feel good.
Bro.
You boys wouldn't know about that, but this guy does. No, I said, I never got with that. Call me a liar? I guess so. Because if you went in there, you wouldn't have had a good time, and you might not even got out. He shoved me up. He shoved me up against another car and got in my face with some threats. He wanted to fight. He wanted me to fight him, but I walked away. Dad don't mind me fighting so long as it's worth it, and I knew it wasn't. When school was over, Darnell was waiting. He asked me if I want to drive. I tell him no way, but he says he has something he needs to tell me, and it's about that woman. He seems different now. The cockiness is gone. So I get in. He warns me I can't go telling anyone what he warns me I can't go telling anyone else what he's about to say. I'll be driving by there all the time. Take any excuse, you know.
What?
She knew I was coming. She'd be out there doing something each and every time. Her eyes would be like, "Oh, come fuck me, Darnell. Come fuck me." And part of me was like, too good to be true. And another part, a big part, you feel me, was like, hell yeah. This one day, I'm done playing. So I stop and I go up and I knock. She's at the door wearing almost nothing at all. I'm like, if there's a lottery for ass, I just hit the Mega Millions jackpot. I straight up tell her she's been cock teasing long enough. She says, "Well, why don't I do something about it?" And that sounds like she's playing, but she could have just been the weather radio the way she said it. Oh yeah, so oh shit, so she was just like, "Why don't you come do something about it?" She didn't even ask twice though.
Oh.
I got my hands all over that and closed the door behind me. She feels cold, so I say I'm gonna warm her up good. It's real weird, because she's not like reacting at all. I'm squeezing those big tits and she's thinking about her Netflix. Big tits and she's thinking about her Netflix. Should I squeeze harder, baby? I say and tell her, and she tells me to wait there. I'm there for minutes and my patience about wore out. I don't hear anything. Like, she just disappeared. Just house noises. A clock ticking, like a faucet dripping, and then this chuckle. I wonder what she's playing at. I call out and she won't answer. I hear a thud, so I go looking. And when I get to the stairs, that's when the whispers start. Like she's talking to someone. Maybe she's on the phone, telling her husband she's just been doing laundry. You know, feel me? I keep going up the stairs, and now I know someone else is in the house. Whoever it is sounds like a fucking elf or something. I don't know. And he keeps laughing.
Elf on a shelf.
Gives me the freaks. I go in the room with a couch and an old TV. Like, you know those TVs that got wood panels? Who wants a wooden TV? I go in there and the whispers stop right away, man. I mean, right away. I'm getting some bad vibes. Then I see her there. The back of her head. She's just sitting there on the damn couch watching TV. I'm thinking, what the hell is this? Bitch is down to fuck. Suddenly she needs to watch her afternoon shows.
Ooh, I'm
so
a
I
fool.
go up to her and I say, hey. And she turns around and ain't her at all. It's this creepy as shit old man. He's wearing her hair and her dress and he's laughing. I said, you think this is funny? I mean, where's she at? He points behind me and I look behind me and it's a closed door. I turn back in them few seconds and this old guy moved like an arm length away. I can smell him. Smells like Werther's Original. Fucking old man candy. Scared the shit out of me. Man, I swear this is true. I look over his shoulder, and whatever the hell he was watching on TV is watching us now. It's like a talk show, but they're staring right at the camera and not saying nothing. What kind of show does that? And the old man starts pointing behind me, nodding and laughing. His eyes are the craziest I've ever seen in my life.
I'm not.
And I want to look, but there ain't no way I'm taking my eyes off that creepy son of a bitch again. So I back
Can
down
you
out
fuck
that
it?
room,
Okay.
and he says to me in this voice, like he got a radio static in his voice or something, and he says, "You made the right choice." I didn't even notice until he had a corkscrew in his hand. I bolted the hell out of there.
Oh.
We've just been driving around the same block while he got this whole story out. I got the feeling he wasn't telling me something, so I said so. Okay? My granddad raised me for when I was really young. My folks ain't worth a shit. My folks ain't worth a shit is why. My trash spent most of their life in prison. Granddad's been dead for a year now, on the way out of that house. I thought I smelt my granddad. That same smell always in my granddad's home. Almost made me turn around and look, but I didn't. I don't believe in ghosts and shit, but I was so scared it had me imagining. He stopped the car at the very end of the street, far from that house. None of us said a word for a while. I believed his story, though. I didn't believe he rearranged her guts. This I believed. That got me laughing a bit to myself. The whole thing was so creepy and serious that it made me laugh more. The fuck? Darnell said. Where'd you get the tiny hands shit from? I asked. He burst out laughing too and told me he got out of his car already. Told me to get out of his car already. When I was getting out, he said, "Hey, be careful, man."
Or wait.
I decided I wasn't gonna tell Sam what Darnell said.
Okay.
He didn't need to be freaked out more than he already was.
Dust.
It wasn't doing me any favors, that's for sure. That night, Sam was watching anime in his room, and I was on Discord with some old friends. Sam comes in my room looking like a ghost. JP, she's right outside the window.
She's right
you didn't take
behind
that.
you.
You didn't take down that cardboard. We'd been real good about doing what Dad said. I ain't look at them titties. I ain't look at them titties since. I thought about him a little though. Sam says, "No, I hear something." I go back to Sam's room and I stand there in the front of the cardboard. I tell him I don't feel it. I tell him I don't feel anything. So he tells me to listen real close, hold my breath, and I hear it. It sounds like someone heavy breathing on a phone, like in the movies. Just the wind in the trees. I tell him, relax. I go back to my room a few minutes later. Sam's back. I'm like, come on, man. Because he's acting like he's 5. He's begging me to come hang out in his room. And I do. But when I get in there, that breathing sound's already gone. I sit on his bed and I get on my phone. And then I hear it. Like scratching at the cardboard. With the window been pulled up. I freeze up. Sam's just looking at me. Then the breathing starts up again. You don't say a word. Too scared for that. I get up off that bed and get close to the cardboard. Sam's shaking his head.
Oh God.
I put my ear against the cardboard.
Why is everyone over here? In the
Hear
fuck?
anything? Sam asked, so shushed. Sam asked, so I shushed him. I hear a vehicle go outside. Some crickets, and then a whisper clear as if someone's in my room. How's Darnell? Ooh! Ooh! I think we should tell Dad, I tell Sam. He's staring at the cardboard like he's about to piss himself. I turn and see 2 fingers poking through a gap in the tape and quickly pull back. We didn't waste another second. We were getting Dad. Okay, that shit actually got me. I'm not gonna lie. I heard that shit. I actually scared myself. I keep like thinking someone's behind me and shit. That's pretty fucking good. I do love the idea of a guy like of a guy lying about a sex story to his buddies when it was like a traumatic thing, and then we get to like hear this guy who was just like, I was just trying to get some pussy, and then all of a sudden he's terrorized by this like guy in a fucking wig. Very odd. The supernatural element to the story is very interesting because it doesn't take huge swings. Like the TV, it's almost like the hypnotism factor is like having people hallucinate things, like Darnell looking at the TV and there's people just staring at him, not saying anything. But it just seems like it's hypnotizing people so it can get close enough to kill him or something. A few days passed with nothing else happening. Dad was practically on patrol. He'd been checking up the windows all the time. He put an order in for cameras. He was doing his best to keep us safe, and I remember how awesome he is. Only thing is he wouldn't go to confront her. When I got home from school that Monday, Sam was already home. His middle school closer to home than high school. As soon as I come in, he grabs me by the shirt and starts yanking me to his room. Also, too, I would imagine that even if they tried calling the cops or somebody, I think that at least the story feels like it's established that even if the cops went there, either one, the titties are so magnificent that the cops are going to be distracted by it, or it's just they're going to be like, it's just a woman. There's like no, you know, I imagine that the entity or whatever would put on a show to not get caught.
I'll kill you.
When I got home from school that Monday, Sam was already home.
Whatever.
His middle school is closer to home than the high school. And as soon as I come home, he grabs me by the shirt and starts yanking me to his room. He whispers, JB, what should we do? And I'm like, go our separate ways. He then puts these panties in my face. They're lacy red. I don't think they'll fit you, I said. He says he found them in his school bag. He shows me on the butt, help me is written in eyeliner or something. Oh my God. Wait. So is the woman being used as like a fucking, as like a pawn? What? All right, you motherfuckers who are saying sniff, you need a guy on. First off, I just want to say this to you.
It's another way to lure them in.
We have a patron whose name is fucking Rick Sanchez. Doesn't even have a profile picture of Rich Sanchez, and he just keeps typing sniff. All right, that's who. Welcome to our community. What do we do, JB? We got to show Dad, right? I tell him no. I had this idea just floating around the back of my mind for a while. I didn't pay too much mind. This message was like missing a piece of a puzzle, you know? Dad's already on a rampage. If we show him these, he'll whip our asses with our own dicks.
What?
We'll hide him. I mean, think about it. She's got these crazy hypnotized blank stares. There's all this strange stuff. There's a creepy old man Darnell saw in the house. And now she writes a message that just says, help me? I have to trust my gut. Maybe she's a victim. Maybe I can save her. Maybe she'll want to reward her hero and I'll say, I'm no hero, just in the right place at the right time. And then I take her to a movie and one thing leads to another and I sniff the panties and I was right. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. Never mind. Rick Sanchez, you're completely fucking, you're justified. He sniffed the panties. There you go. Okay. Yeah. Why do I even try? You know? Rick, I cannot believe to say this, but in a Creepcast episode, Rick Sanchez hit a bear trap. Wow. Good for you, Rick. 1 point for Rick. We'll give him a point. I think it's a trap, Tim tells me later that night. Just tell Dad. It does smell like a trap too, sure. But I can make an executive decision. We're gonna hide the panties under my mattress. I'm gonna see if she's dicking with us. Nobody's telling Dad nothing. I go take the trash out that evening, and while I'm out there, I slip my undies in her mailbox. I wrote on them, 2 a.m. garage side door. Why not just a note, dude? Why have your underwear? I set an alarm to wake up at 2 a.m., except I can't sleep. Neither can Sam. We're both too wired thinking about it. I go into his room and we wait for 2 a.m. It's a school night, so we have to be real quiet. Sam whispers, "What if Dad's right?" And I guess we're fucked. He whispers again, "What if Dad's wrong, though?" Maybe we'll get fucked. That cracks him up, makes him relax a little more. Now 1:55, I go take a piss. I'm not even drinking anything, but I have to go every 20 minutes. I'm so nervous. Just takes me a few seconds. When I get out, I see Sam standing frozen in the doorway of his own bedroom. I go to ask if he's okay. I have to cover my mouth to stifle my scream. She's there. She's standing in Sam's room, wearing the same lacy, what they call negligee, I guess, because it's like she's negleed. She's negleed to put anything on. I'm too freaked out to be excited. She says some things that I can't follow because I'm still in shock that she's just there. Sam and I close the bedroom door anyway and sit on Sam's bed with her. I guess that's what she asked us to do. I don't remember. How is it that you're acting normal all of a sudden? I ask. You've been creepy as hell, peeping at us from behind the tree. That wasn't me, she said. That was him. He looks just like me sometimes. Who? Cross. That's what he calls himself. Who knows if that's his real name? He started having seizures of some kind. What? Okay, what the fuck is going on? Hold on a second. Hold on. So she's completely normal right now. Question, why do you not run for help? Well, I found a pair of shitty underwear. I better go talk to the neighborhood boys next door. Am I lost here? Unless this is coming into some kind of well, it could be a trap. That is true. It could be a trap, but it also could be her just being like, "Hey, you're in immediate danger, and I have to tell you, I can't go anywhere else right now. I owe it to you guys to tell you." I don't know. She's whispering real low, like she's just a few feet away. But she wasn't traced or robotic like before. Or she wasn't tranced or robotic like before. She felt like a real person. I could tell she was scared, and I was right, I'm thinking. I was right all along. She was a victim. She's normal now. Look at her. She even moves her hand when she talks. She didn't do that before. I'm looking at her in that negligee now, and damn. The seizures started a few days ago. When they happened, I can think for myself. I don't know how long it's been. Years. The first time was the night I buried the stuff in the backyard. That was a warning. I know you guys watch me. You're supposed to. He wants you to. I made sure you watched me digging. Did you get the warning? Why didn't you do anything about it? We felt pretty stupid then. It made perfect sense though. She wanted us to dig it up, and at least we could say it's Dad's fault. If you're good now, how do you know Dad? And what happened to Dad's friends? Sam asked. He remembers you from years ago. She looked sad when Sam asked that. I gave him a punch in the arm for making her sad. Man, she looked good just sitting there on the floor. I wanted to comfort her. She says she can tell we don't believe her. It looks like she's about to leave. I would like them to ease up on. I feel like the situation is serious enough now to where even the horniness of a boy should be done now. You know what I mean? I give Sam a calm your ass down look and tell her, I believe you. She smiles at me, sweet and warm like apple pie. Dad was wrong. I knew it. I'll tell you something I've never been able to tell anyone before. I was just a little girl living in some rundown apartments in Denver. My parents were gone a lot, doing odd jobs. I always noticed this little hole in the wall in my bedroom. Sometimes at night, I'd hear funny sounds coming out of it, like moans and wails and snickers. Very faint. I believe some of our many strange neighbors were doing it, or their pets, or their televisions. But one night, the sound seemed a lot closer than usual. I stared at that hole for hours. You know when you stare at some point in the dark room, how everything around seems to get darker and darker? Then suddenly a white face is there looking up at me. It's looking at me from inside the hole. I shrieked, but I was too scared to move, and my parents were gone, so no one was coming to help me. He kept watching me. The hole was with the size of a coffee cup. I didn't see his whole face, just parts of it at a time. His gritting eyes and nose, or his nose and mouth. I had to imagine the whole face. I didn't like what I imagined. Then it started talking to me, saying I should relax, and he's just my neighbor, and he knows this strange hole in the wall. I sighed in relief right away. I was still not comfortable with this man looking in my bedroom. At least I understood why this was happening. I told him the hole was there for a long time, and he asked if I'd made it. I said no. He asked where my parents were. I told the truth. You still with me? No doubt I had the dumbest look on my face because I'd just been caught enjoying the view. Then I saw she was calling out Sam, not me. Show some respect, I told him. Then told her to keep going. Yeah, I feel like you should. That takes me out of the flow. All right, come on. When he found out I was alone, he said I should come over to his place. Come on to the other side. He's been my neighbor for a long time, he said. I should come over now. We just moved into that place a few months ago, so I didn't know what he was talking about. He said, at least come look through the hole. I started to go, then I heard him snickering. Same sound I heard before. I knew something was wrong with the situation, so I threw a pillow in front of the hole. I didn't hear him for a few seconds. Then he screamed, this awful scream like a train braking. I covered my ears until it stopped. Then I heard a different voice like a crumbling building. You thought it was the dog licking your feet, but it was me. I ran to the kitchen and cried myself to sleep that night. Ah! Ow! What? Fucking licking the tootsies? Good God. What dog? I asked. Years before that, we had a little pom-pom, and my feet stick out. And my feet stick off the side of my tiny bed. Sometimes I feel these little licks, and I'd giggle and pull my feet in. I never thought about it. I was like 4. But you know what? That dog was never allowed in my room. I remembered that then, and I never put it together before because nothing else seemed possible. I don't think I'd never been so scared in my life than when he told me that. I told my parents what happened. My father talked to the building owner. They came to my room, really concerned. Owner moves the pillow aside, takes a look at the hole, and just like that, he says my story's made up. My father was getting mad and yelling at the owner. The owner said I'm a liar because no one lives on the other side of the wall. He can guarantee it because it's not just a joining wall, it's sheetrock, then brick, then outdoors. Father tells him it doesn't matter. Take down the sheetrock and see what's between the walls because his daughter doesn't lie. He was my hero. He actually did take the sheetrock down. It was a narrow space. I was a tiny girl and I would have trouble fitting. No grown man could have been in there. The only thing inside was snake skin. Ah, dude, this snake skin motif is, where the fuck is this go? What is happening? What is this creature? Years later, that man found me again. I won't talk about that, but that's what he does. Find someone and wants them, and he'll wait your whole life for the right moment. Oh shit. Okay, well, fucking dude, our protagonist and Sam, they need to tell their dad immediately. By the way, their dad is in trouble. That was her story. That's some weird shit.
Actually,
I told her that's even half true. She needed to run away,
I would need
or she could go to the police.
Anyways,
but she said he'd be looking for her by now. She needed to hide for the night.
I was gonna upgrade my weapon a little bit if I could.
She was so close I could feel the heat from her body. I could smell her. It wasn't Candy this time. She smelled like flowers and strawberries. I would have told her no if I had a book called How to Murder Your Neighbor and Get Away with It in her left hand. You can stay in my room, I said without hesitation. Sam looking at me like I just took a dump on his head. I think it's because he's still scared of her. But he comes up to me when she goes to the bathroom and says, "Why does she have to stay in your room? She gave me the panties, remember? Should we do rock, paper, scissors?" I had some good motivation this time. Know what I mean? I did rock, and it was decided. I have a pretty big closet, so I set her a place to sleep there because his dad saw her. That'd be it. He sent us to the glue factory. She'd asked if he'd be mad. I was like, mad? You know what it's like to have your own foot broken off in your ass? Now I said, also, isn't this like, how old is this woman supposed to be, first off? I think she's 40, right? Yeah, she's 40. What the fuck is... now I set myself down on the bed and tried to sleep. How am I supposed to sleep with all that in my closet? I keep thinking of what Darnell said. Mega Millions jackpot in the ass. That's about right. I must have been staring at the ceiling for an hour when I feel her crawl onto the bed next to me. Oh my god.
Why is my phone not fucking charging?
Bruh! It's too good to be true. Run, child! Run! You're still awake? She asked. Too much excitement, I guess. She put her head on my chest and her arm around me. I could feel her breast pressing against me, so I think about that creepy old man instead. Who is he? I asked. Why me? Why Dad? If he has a reason, he doesn't tell me. He goes from town to town. Each place he takes a kid, usually a teen, and since he got me, he's been focusing on boys. Uses me as a lure. Then we go to the next town. All right, that's a bear trap for me. That is a fucking bear trap. I want a point as well. Rick Sanchez can't get the only bear trap. All right, that is a fucking bear trap. What happens to the kid? He doesn't think like we think. He's in touch with something else, outside the natural order. He told me about it once, a long time ago, when he used to talk more. He said he killed a man in his youth. Went to hide in Canada, deep in the woods there. He found something. Somebody showed him things. He uses the boys somehow. They disappear and he goes on. You're shaking, she said. I had been trying to hide it, but my whole body was like jerking. I couldn't control it. I know. I told her and she started rubbing my chest. It just keeps me in a box. And I hate the box. Do I have to sleep in the closet? Can I stay out here with you? I guess. She said she wanted to thank me for helping. Insisted of thanking me that night. And she did. It was the best thanking I'd ever had. And after all the thanking, she told me what we really had to do.
So what happened?
What? What? This has to be a this has to be written by like a 17-year-old boy. I'm gonna tell you that right now. This is probably 100% written by a 16-year-old boy. I'm telling you that right now. She told me what we really had to do. No running, she tells me. He'll always run faster. We steal his pills. They're not from the pharmacy, I can tell you that. Without his pills, he's powerless. Can't even make more. If we can get in the house and take them, we can kill him, and I'll be free. Kill him? It's fentanyl. Kill him? If I'm free, I'll have all the time in the world for thanking you more, she said. Okay, this is a If I'm free, I'll have all the time in the world for thanking you more, she said. Okay, so first off, this person's evil. There is no fucking way. This is the most obvious trap. My boy is blinded. Run away, child, again. With that, she gave me another sample of her gratitude. I heard the call of booty, and I agreed to her plan. All right, I heard the call of booty, and that I will say that's pretty good. I'm gonna have to use it on my wife sometime. I heard the call of booty. Okay, so I'm thinking I'll slip out and get them now, before it's too late. As I was getting ready by the light from my phone, I hear something. Remember how my mom stays up watching her stories? No, because I thought her mom was fucking. I thought their mom was dead. I didn't even know that she was there. I thought it was just their dad. Remember how my mom stays up watching her stories? Well, mom walks in right then to ask what I'm still doing up. As she sees the girl, I'm embarrassed, thinking, now my mom's gonna know I was just with this girl and that's my mom. And then, oh man, what about when she tells dad? She doesn't say what I expected at all. She looks scared to death. Now let me tell you a little about my mom. She's super smart. Reads like a book a day. She used to teach geology in school. She got burnt out. She stays home now and keeps to herself. She's always been a little different. Like, she could tell you when you're sick before you even feel it. So my mom sees the girl in my bed. She puts her hand on my chest and says, John Baptiste, who is this man? You know, when people say the blood drained out of me, I didn't know what that felt like until then. I turn around and she still looks at the girl she still looks like a girl to me, but she's smirking. Most evil damn smirk I've ever seen. She pulls the cardboard off my window and climbs right out, still smirking. runs up and hugs me. She hasn't done that to me in like 2 years, and I cried.
Oh my god. Oofed. Oofed.
The bussy is a dangerous and powerful drug, my friends. My man was in the desert and saw a mirage. John Baptiste. Who is this man? That is fucked. John Baptiste, who is this man, that has to be a Cribcast legendary line of my God. The call of bussy is louder than most. My God. Tricks! How is that title of the chapter not Tricks? My God. Hold on, I feel like the wind is knocked out of me. It's one of those things where it's like it's too good to be true. It really is, obviously, but I did not expect the story to go where the guy fucked.
I'm just gonna
that is crazy.
run past him, and I want to try
My
fighting
God.
those drakes, the blue ones.
Old grandpa pussy, dude. It's fucked up. Little grandpa bussy wrapped up in Depends. Tricks! Mom woke Dad up, sat us all down, and she didn't even have to ask for an explanation. She just had to look at you. Me and Sam crumpled like a fat man's lawn chair. We just up and told them everything. That's the oldest struggle known to man, Dad said after a moment. A boy's loyalty to his dad or to his dick. Ordinarily, his dick is gonna live longer, except I haven't decided how I'm to deal with you yet, so that's up in the air. He was saying his normal mad threats. Also, I just want to say, cracking a joke, I just want to say to the author, I am emotionally swinging. All right? I am emotionally swinging. We're still cracking jokes, and John Baptiste just fucked an old man. Fucked Bussy like a couple times. He got sucked and fucked by an old man. I mean, we're still cracking jokes. I'm just going to say that. We're still cracking jokes somehow. All right? He was saying his normal mad threats, but this wasn't Dad when he's mad. He was more disappointed. I don't know. Never seen him like this. We say we're sorry and we mean it. He takes me aside and tells me it's too late for sorry. Once that thing got your juice, you're marked. How do you know that, Daddy? How do you know about juice? I started to get offensive like, Dad, she's innocent. You've seen that creep yourself with the wood chisel. She's under a spell. I'm thinking we can rescue her and maybe even stop that man before he hurts anyone else. Dad's just shaking his head like I'm trying to order a McDouble at a Burger King. You remember that time at the barber shop you were going across? I told him that I remembered, so he would stop there. Okay, do you remember the time you almost got on that school bus and I stopped you? I barely remembered that. It's not something I thought much about. As I remembered it, I was around 9 or 10 and Sam was 6 or 7. I remember this woman waking us up to go to school. She said she was the babysitter. That wasn't anything strange. She was strange.
Wow, there's so
but we
many.
just did what we got told. Got ready and headed out to wait for the bus. The babysitter standing beside us on the porch and not saying anything. This part is what I remember best. When the bus pulls up, she starts hitting her head against the porch post and groaning. The bus wasn't like our normal school bus either. It was white and one of the short buses. Me and Sam were going to it because what else could we do? And never could see the driver. Suddenly, we see Dad drive up and come running out of his car. We're surprised because he's supposed to be at work. He's yelling for us to stop and he grabs us when he catches up. The bus drives off right away. So we think we did something wrong, but Dad lets us watch TV the rest of the day, and that's what I remember most. Something weird happened.
Oh
and
shit!
Dad lets us
Okay,
watch
I
cartoons
guess.
all day long. One of my favorite memories. It was Memorial Day, he said. There was no school that day. Oh my God. Okay, I just want to say, this story. I'll tell you what, the little reveals are haymakers. All right. The little
door? Can I even go in there?
The reveals are haymakers. I'm not gonna lie. This is right when I think that like some of the sex and like the jokes or whatever, it pulls you back in with something. Also, if it's a white short bus,
No,
did
come back,
anyone
come
else just
back.
think that it was just like a white van? I feel like I'm in my mind. I'm just picturing like a Chevy white van. They never found that bus. Nobody knew who the babysitter was, and she wouldn't talk. I guess the police picked her up. Mom and Dad really did have to work, and there really was a babysitter. The fake one
Bitch.
told the real one to get lost. But you know, the thing that freaked me out the most, learning this, it's not just what would have happened to me or Sam if we got on the bus. It's that I know I saw some kids already on that bus.
I hear another one walking towards.
Bruh.
Bruh.
Oh my god.
Bruh.
Dude,
God damn it.
when the fuck is the author
Fuck
gonna
this
let me
area.
take a minute, dude? My god. I feel like this is round 3 in a boxing event. Like I'm gassed.
There we
dude.
go. Now my phone is
Holy
fucking
shit.
charging. The hell?
Once you get marked, I think they got a
fuck
claim
this.
on
I'm
your
just gonna go to
offspring,
smog
like it's theirs.
and that other
Dad said.
what
I know I ain't
its
the only fool
face.
that dipped in that. Oh my god. Jesus. I know I ain't the only fool that dipped in that, but they're not having my kids. Now you've gone and made sure you'll live with the same shit I did. I had to make sure you can't have no kids right now. Please tell me this is not like a Tommy Taffy thing. This is slowly becoming a Tommy Taffy situation if the dad and Tommy Taffy fuck Tommy. I think Dad could see he got to me. I was near tears. Not just because of remembering what happened. It was just thinking that one bad choice could ruin my kids' lives. Hi! I plan on having kids someday. He puts his big hand on my shoulder. That hand always feels like it weighs about 20 pounds. He says, I just need to get to school and he'll take care of it. Dad, you're like 52, all right? And nothing has happened. I don't trust you to solve this. I don't trust the dad to do anything. What has the dad done yet? Oh, just go to school. Your dad will take care of it. How about no, Dad? How about you fuck yourself, okay? Then you're gonna tell me what really happened with you and Red? Because we both know that he just confessed to getting it on with the woman, and he very much omitted that detail from the original version of the story. Get on to school for now, he says. Wait, so hold on. Let me just make sure. Am I the guy was sitting on the bed. Are we to assume that the kid still had sex with like some woman who was under a spell that I'm guessing was the same woman that was on the porch? Or was it that even the dad doesn't realize that he had sex with the guy? So it is the dude. Okay, so I'm guessing the dad doesn't realize too that he also. That I guess the dad also dipped it in. So both his son and the dad have gotten to experience like devilish grand pussy. Okay, I meet Sam at our street as we're both coming home from school. We can see Dad's car in the driveway. Inside we find Mom in her back room reading. Dad ain't anywhere in the house. I just want to say too, it is odd how calm the mom is. Both the mom and dad have got me questioning things. Why is the mom still just reading Junie B. Jones in the back goddamn room like nothing's happening? Did she just see that her son got done dicking down an old man, and now even her husband's just like, yeah, put my dipstick in that a couple times and the oil's clean? I mean, why is no one else reacting? You know? Inside we find Mom in her back room reading. Dad ain't anywhere in the house. We ask Mom what's up, but she doesn't know. She's been lone wolfing again. She gets worried when she sees our faces, so we have to fill her in. She keeps asking more questions, so we have to keep answering. By the time she's done Judge Juding us, she knows just about everything there is to know. I've never heard of Red Finney, she said. You just believe everything that man tells you? They'd call your dad Red on account of how he charged you when he played. Hold on a second. What? I'd never heard of Red Finney, she said. You believe anything that man tells you? They call your dad Red on account of how he charged you when he played? What? There is no fucking way the dad is Red. I figured it's just some lore from Dad's life she forgot. So we show her the pictures of Red Finney with the jacket. She says they all had that jacket back then. The boy in the picture was Phil McCoy, and no one ever called him Red. Oh no, I said, because I knew where Dad was. I took off running to the neighbor's house. Sam was right behind me. We didn't care what creepy shit was in that house. Dad says a lot of colorful things. Dad says a lot of colorful sayings. I know it seems like he's mad all the time, but Sam and me both know he'd do anything for us, even die. He made me the guy I am today. All the good parts anyway. He's just the most amazing person I know. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about? What? I mean, what? He's the most amazing guy I know. Motherfucker, has he just been lying to you this whole time? I don't know if I like the dad, if I'm being honest. So the dad, I don't know if I'm on board with the dad. All right. So I'm thinking I'm gonna kick in the door like in the movies, except it isn't even locked. We just open the door and walk in. First thing I notice, doesn't smell like burnt sugar no more. Smells more like old socks and jock straps. Oh, he's been fucking. It's real dark inside. Everything covered in white cloth. There's handprints on the walls, but they're down low, like someone was crawling around on their belly. JB, why are those fingers so long? Sam asked. Let's not ask questions. Let's not ask any more questions, I said. We come to one room at the end of the downstairs hall where we can hear flies buzzing around inside. Ugh, there's gotta be thousands of them to make that noise. Sam looks at me like he's about to open it, but I stop him. Cat could be in there, he says. I just know I got a real bad feeling about that room, like almost making me sick going near it. I tell him to trust me, and he does. Oh, God. We went back to where the staircase went up. We could hear voices. We tensed up at first, ready for a fight, until we recognized the voices. They were our own. What? We got nearer and could hear what we were saying. Sam saying, "You see the titties on that? Bet you wish you picked this room." And me saying, "We were spending a lot of quality time together." Inside that room, the wall was just full of monitors, like a control room or something. They were all playing some video from inside our home. One monitor even showed me and Sam as kids playing with toy swords. I never saw that video before. I think there was blood on one of the monitors. I didn't tell Sam. I didn't want him to lose hope. We left that room and went across. This was the room Darnell described. The old TV and the couch. And someone sitting on the couch. I almost screamed when I saw it. I slowly walked forward. Then my eyes adjusted. There's no way it was the creepy old man. I didn't know who it was. It was just a middle-aged black man, just eating oatmeal and watching some black and white TV show. Sir? I say, "Don't put me in the dark. Don't put me in the dark. Don't put me back." And he kept saying that last part. He didn't sound scared, but there was no feeling to it. He just kept saying the words, eating oatmeal and watching a show. I shake his shoulder and tell him that we're looking for my dad. Thad? He went upstairs. Now he's gone. Gone where? Into the dark. You talk about it too much. It's liable to come get you. You want to see a trick? He put his hand up to his head, and the TV turned off. I couldn't see a remote anywhere. Pretty cool, huh? We nodded.
Where's the fucking...
Remember how you'd fall asleep watching Aladdin? He asked. Remember how you'd fall asleep watching Aladdin? Bad for the power bill. Want to see another trick? Sam started tugging my hand at that point. I don't think he wanted to see another trick. I know for sure I didn't. He put his hand on his head again and screamed. As soon as he did, my phone started ringing. It was my dad. Dad was calling. I told the dude to shut up and he stopped screaming. I answered and both me and Sam were calling to him, asking where he was. On the other end, all I heard was hissing. Nobody ever spoke. "Where's Dad?" I asked the man again. I bunched my hand into a fist because I was about ready to get some answers from this a-hole. He put his hands up to his hand. Oh, okay. I think he puts his hands together. "You don't want to see this trick." I followed Sam out. I followed Sam out and downstairs. The buzzing had left that one room. So did my bad feeling. Inside was just a pile of tar on the floor and a dead snake. More crazy voodoo shit, I thought. We looked in every room of that house now. Dad wasn't inside. We told Mom, and together we made a police report. Police told us they'd look into it, but our dad, an adult, and if he chose to run off with a sexy neighbor, that makes him a jerk, not a criminal. I couldn't believe they saw it that way. They didn't know Dad at all. Plus the house next door wasn't officially occupied, they said. A couple from Vancouver owned it. They leave it empty until they fly down in the winter for a few months. So they figured Dad had his mistress just chilling there. What the fuck is going on? Okay? Couldn't you just, I mean, like, okay, so they get there and the guy is gone, whatever, but couldn't you say, hey, there's a guy in there and he's like fucking tapping his head and turning on TVs and calling my dad or whatever? There's a goddamn dead snake and tar in there. Hello? What is happening? I don't know. Energy. About 2 weeks after Dad went missing is when the white dudes in the suits showed up at the front door. Don't want to deal with no Jehovah's Witnesses with all that's going on. They were something else. They show up with their badges that say Department of Energy. They're asking to speak with John Baptiste, and I say that's me. They come right in without asking. They sat on the couch, like really close to each other. Their hands were touching. It was weird. Like, there's plenty of room, guys. Then they started asking questions. They want to know everything about everything that's been happening. I'm not sure what I should tell them. I don't know these guys. I don't like it much either. I just tell myself if there's any chance they can help with Dad, I should tell them everything. I do just that. The full crazy. Not one turd of batshit left out of it. They don't look surprised or nothing, like I was telling them about last night's game. You know what they're more interested in? The box. Did you see the box? He asked. I tell him no, I didn't see it. And could you have seen this box and not been aware of it? And I was like, if I wasn't aware of it, then I wouldn't know if I've seen it or not. So that's a yes. It's a no. They each pulled a Capri Sun from their inside pockets, stabbed it with a little straw, and started sucking. What adults drink Capri Sun? Then they say, have you or anyone in your family had sexual contact with entities residing next door? It's funny because I heard in titties as I heard entities as them titties. I know that sounds childish, but they said it funny. What? Like they wanted me to hear titties. They didn't seem like something the Department of Energy would do, though. I ignored it. Because that one small detail had indeed left out of my account. They had no business knowing that. Are you guys here to help find my dad? I straight up asked them. They answered with, where is he? I tell them I don't know. That's why he's missing. They look at each other and grab hands like they were some buddy cop movie. They finish their Capri Sun and politely return to their own pockets. Listen, John Baptiste, one says, did you get a grasp on the identities of the neighbors? Again, identities was pronounced as I like them titties. I dim titties. We get it. I told them that they know all I know already, and that half of it was probably bullshit. Don't be a boob, the other said. Best thing to do is cooperate. It might be tituous, but take a moment. Try to jug your memories. It's losing me, dude. This is just like that. That's how they said it. Now I knew they were dicking with me, but they looked so serious, like crazy serious. I don't know if they'd ever smile in their lives serious. It wasn't no prank or joke. They were just trying to get under my skin or mess with my head or something. It was working too. I was thinking of her big, soft breast and feeling guilty about it. Then they asked if they could use the bathroom. They went together. And you know what? I never saw them again. There's no way out of that house except windows. None of the windows were opened. Didn't look like they'd been to the bathroom either. Just not sure how they did it. But they just fucked off. Sam came downstairs a minute or so later. He'd been asleep. He'd been sleeping a lot since Dad went missing. Guess that's how he handles it. He says, JB, who the hell are those dudes in your room? So we run upstairs and there's nobody there. No way to get out except them stairs. You hallucinating? Two dudes in suit just walked right into your room before I ran down. They were smiling real wide, like they were a sign above the door saying, this way for blowjobs. That's another weird thing. To get upstairs, they would have had to come back out from where the downstairs bathroom is and walk by me. But that never happened. I don't know how they got up there or where they went. We searched every inch of the home to make sure they weren't hiding. Only thing I found was a business card. They left it on my pillow. Days later, I'm still thinking they're gonna pop out when I'm in the shower. I don't know who those guys really were. I don't know what they want from me. Pretty sure they ain't Department of anything. Pretty sure they won't be helping me or Dad either. The next day, I was driving home from the grocery store and I see the middle-aged guy from the house. Red Finney, I guess I'll call him. He's walking real slow along the sidewalk, shuffling really. I pull up to him and say, hey, you need to tell the police what you know. Where's my dad? He keeps shuffling along, like I'm not even there. So now I'm starting to get mad. I'm yelling at this guy. This lady runs out of the apartment and is like, excuse me, what do you think you're doing? Who do you think you are? I tell her this creep knows what happened to my dad and he won't say nothing. She says, Mr. Turley has advanced dementia. He barely knows where he is, let alone your dad. Leave him alone. She tells him, come on inside, Mr. Turley. Some people just don't understand. Is this another one of your tricks? I asked. The man darts his hand into my car and grabs my phone from my pocket so fast, I almost didn't notice. He starts messing around with it while I'm trying to grab it back. Then he holds it out like he's giving it back. And I see he's got a sly look. I grab it anyways. When I do, he pulls me close to him. He smells like mothballs and rotten meat, and he whispers, "Call your dad tonight, midnight." The lady says, "Mr. Turley, you want us to take your lights away, do you? Get inside." I watch them walk away, and I can't help but notice the lady nurse. She's got this nice fat butt with a tiny waist, a pumpkin ass, like Darnell says, and fine legs too. I'm looking her up and down, and I see she's got snake tattoos on her ankles. Kind of sexy. Except then I think of all the snakes from that house. She turns back and gives me. Then she looks at me just then, and I exaggerate. And I exaggerate when I say it looked like she wanted to stick a butcher knife in my face. I drive the hell out of there. It's like a weird fucking like Pennywise. It's like a weird Pennywise creature or something. I don't know. This whole thing though of the continuous callbacks to how sexy the thing is getting a bit fatiguing, as I'm realizing we're almost 2 hours into this. That night, Sam and I watched the clock tick down to midnight. We did what we wanted now. Mom didn't care how late we stayed up. She just hid with her books. Why, in all these stories, I feel like you see it a lot in children's stories where the parents are just super incompetent, and it feels like that. "It's time," Sam shouted. I dialed the number. We dialed many times since Dad disappeared. We'd fill up his voicemail. We'd ask for the phone to be traced unsuccessfully. This time, for the first time, it rang. It rang and rang and rang. "He's not going to answer, JB," Sam said, sounding more discouraged than ever. "Let me try again." And I did. He kept ringing again. But this time, someone answered. "Dad?" There's no answer. It's not silent either. You can hear breathing and some kind of activity. Then Dad's voice singing. He's singing "Phenomenal Cat." He used to sing that song to us all the time when we were little. Exactly like that.
God damn it.
We're trying to talk to him the whole time, but he just keeps singing, like it's a recording, so we give up. We just listen to him sing, and then the phone hangs up. We tried calling back, and it went straight to voicemail. We told the police, but they still believe he ran away with his neighbor. We told them about the Department of Energy too, and they politely told us to get lost. "Thea!" Sing it, Hunter. I don't know what I wonder what phenomenal cat. "It's a phenomenal cat. Meow. Look at him go. He jumps. Meow. He rolls. Meow. He sings. He's a phenomenal cat. Meow. And he's here to brighten your day." There you go, phenomenal cat. "Thea! My dad's sister came down from Michigan to help find Dad and help my mom cope. She really was there to take us back. I guess all of our family agreed we couldn't handle that house by ourselves, and she had us pack up what we needed, put it in her van, and drove me, Sam, and Mom to stay with her. Since we've been staying with Aunt Thea, nothing at all happened strange. No Department of Energy, no creepy old men, no snakes, no titties, neither. I almost forgot what normal was like. Kind of boring, but cool too. I'm okay with it. But I miss Dad so much. He's gonna make me wear my balls for earrings. Who's gonna make me wear my balls for earrings? Or whip me with my own dick? Who's gonna get mad at me because I scratch myself in a funny way? He's out there somewhere, I feel it. I didn't know Aunt Thea too well. She and Dad didn't have a good relationship, I guess. Because he never talked about her and she never visited. She was practically a stranger. Mom needed the help though, so she took it. Once we'd been with Aunt Thea for a month or so, I started to trust her. She was good to me and Sam, and she listened to us. She took the time to get to know us. She said good things about Dad, so a little bit at a time, we told her about what had happened. She never once said she didn't believe us. One day, Aunt Thea told us that she remembers when she and Dad were both teens, and he came running into the house at night, and he looked scared out of his mind. She thought right away that he got himself involved with gangs or some shit. I don't know. She rolls up her magazine and gives him a good hit with it. He got mad, she said, but at least he's not scared anymore. She tells him that what he gets You tell him that's what he gets for messing with gangs. It ain't gangs at all, though. There's something really wrong with the people in that big house. She tells him he needs to relax. They're just circus people. Dad's like, what the hell are you talking about? Anthea tells me, but sure enough, I remember seeing them put on a magic show. I think it was at like the circus, this old man and a woman. She looked like she was in a daze the whole time. He had her hide behind a curtain. Seconds later, she walked out of a door on the other side of the stage. They were good, I thought. They were good. I thought I had it figured out that she had a twin. Then they took a volunteer. They had them go inside this box. They pretended they'd lost him after that. The box was empty. The young guy wasn't around nowhere. And finally, they go and find him in the box again. It made my hair stand on end because I swear to Jesus, I don't normally swear at all, that what came out of that box was not the same boy at all. Looked just like him, but it wasn't him. I knew that boy, and that wasn't him. Or if it was him, he'd lost something. He left town right after that.
Yep.
Some folks said he'd seen things in that box, that it took him somewhere awful. Other folks laughed and said the magician paid him real well. Now that's what they call digression.
I wish I could just fucking see.
What happened the next day? Your dad goes off with his friends up to their mischief. They stay home like I usually do. That lady from the circus comes by knocking on our front door in person, and she's so beautiful. I remember thinking that face.
How much is left of this fuck?
Face like a heart, big eyes, lashes fanning out like a wood nymph. I was predisposed to think unkindly towards her. However, I can't tell you why. She says your dad left us something in her house, and she knows. And she shows me his watch. It was a gift from our father. He ought to be ashamed for losing it. She asked if she can come in and give it to him. Watch a lot of cop shows. I know a little about looking around. I fancied myself a detective, so I gave her a good look over. And you'd think a girl like that wouldn't cast the finest shadow you ever saw. It wasn't. Her shadow was tall, lank, and bent over like a wet scarecrow. There's no angle or light that can make this girl cast that shadow. Oh, that's sick. I believe the devil can take any shape. So when I saw that, I grabbed the watch and told her to never set foot on the home again. She laughed and said she goes where she pleases. She said that, but that was the last time I saw her. That's kind of sick, dude. Sam and me would talk to Aunt Thea a lot after that. She's just sharing ideas about what happened, thinking things through. We didn't have a corkboard with string or nothing, but we were a little team trying to solve a mystery, keeping each other honest. Having someone you love missing is a strange thing. You have to go back to living your life sometimes. Being normal, and then you feel guilty because you spent some time living when they might be out there waiting for you to save them. That's how it felt. It's not the same. It's not the same as if Dad died. He was out there still. Even after months passed, I believed he was out there. We never stopped our meetings. We even named the group the Finders. We didn't do much of any finding, though. More just looking. We searched the internet for clues for hours and hours, and there was nothing. You think someone else out there had the same story, but nothing. We had no leads, no further research. So, what did we spend our time doing? Just talking about it. Analyzing the experiences. It was like their therapy. It was like therapy and theorizing, like philosophy or something. Aunt Thea would listen and give us hints and guide our thinking in one direction, and then tell us why that made sense or didn't make sense. Like, is that lady a demon?
This story has gone to shit.
Demons want you to damn yourself, and she wanted, well, there was another topic. What did she want? She's got Dad. Is that all she wanted? Does she have to dig naked in her backyard for that? Does she have to rub does she have to rub the titties over to get her Dad? And Aunt Thea would ask questions like, so you grab my Rice Krispie squares when you want to watch a movie. What's them squares got to do with watching a movie? So I guess that the point is, she wanted Dad, but I was a snack? On we went. Lots of looking, no real finding. We decided that we were all people once, bad people, and something happened to them. We decided they were all people once, bad people, and then something happened to them.
Why are you kicking?
But Sam
why
said
are you kicking?
they're aliens, and maybe he's right. It helped. It helped. As therapy, it helped. We were doing something. We were understanding what happened to us. Understanding it. Aunt Thea said we could master it, control it. I wasn't sure how, but she was convincing. We finally had a big breakthrough after months. It was completely unexpected and It only happened. We finally had a big breakthrough after months. It was completely unexpected and only happened thanks to Sam. Thanks to Sam being a little pervert, that is. We were reviewing the events again, and we got the help me message. Aunt Thea was asking more and more questions like, "Are you sure it was eyeliner? Should it have been ash?" and such. And that's when Sam revealed it. "I still have the panties. Want me to bring him?" We managed to sneak them out of my room and keep them with his stuff even after we traveled. He told no one until this very day. When he saw us staring, he looked ashamed and admitted that he liked the smell. Little pervert. "Just go get them," Aunt Thea said. Sam offered them to her, but she backed away like they were made of buttholes and plutonium. "Just put them on the table," she said. "Anyone touching them will be under its power." Sam and I exchanged a look. We heard a lot from Aunt Thea and never a hint that she was a Santeria? Santeria? What the fuck does that mean? Santeria. Santeria, or Regla de Ocha, is an Afro-Cuban religion blending Yoruba beliefs with Catholicism, focusing on relationships with demons, called Orishas for guidance and protection. Okie dokie. "This is powerful," she announced. "JB, once you go to my bedroom, look under the bed, where you'll see a wooden box about the size of your Xbox. Handle it from the sides and bring it to me. You got it?" How do we know this isn't the old man? How do we know this isn't the old man with the box? Hello? I'm almost positive that, hey, bear trap is prepped, all right? I'd never been in a room before. At this point, I expect to see chicken feet and shrunken heads, but nah, it was just a normal older lady's bedroom. Ew! I found the box right away. When I got back, she had moved Sam back against the wall and was walking in a circle around the table. She ordered me to place the box on the floor next to Sam. She came over to the box, squatted down to open it, and pulled out an old MP3 player. I only know because I had one when I was 5. She plugged it in, then hooked it up to a little speaker set that was also in the box. "What is that?" Sam asked. It's how Jesus listened to music," I said. Suddenly, Smooth Criminal was blasting as loud as those little speakers could manage. "I'll be able to tell you where they are," she shouted. "You have to leave." I saw her sit in the chair against the wall and close her eyes. She was muttering something as we left while Mako Jackson checked out on Annie's status. We left while... Ah! Fuck! I saw her sit in a chair against the wall and close her eyes. She was muttering something as we left while Michael Jackson checked out Annie's status. Sam and I didn't know how long this would take. It's not like she told us much. So we just hovered around the door for a while. I gave Sam crap about the panties while we waited. I was surprised they weren't crusty. He didn't reply. He just waited with his head down. After 30 minutes, we got tired of it and did other things. Then we went to bed. Aunt Thea still hadn't come out of that room in the morning. We could still hear Smooth Criminal on repeat. Sam went to knock, but I shook my head. Turns out he didn't need to knock anyway. The music stopped right then. She came stumbling out of the room all sweaty and coughing. We had to help her downstairs. She drank 3 full bottles of water and ate all the Pop-Tarts right out of the box. "What happened?" "They're here," she said. "In Detroit." Just the kind of mockery I expect as such a... What? Hunter, what the fuck is wrong with your brain? My God. In Detroit. Just the kind of mockery I expect of such as those. Go upstairs, you'll find a powder on the table where the object was. Don't touch it. Just put it on one of my mason jars. Just put it in one of my mason jars. Just put it one... I feel like there's typos. Just put it in one of my mason jars. Then in half a cup of milk. Wait. Okay. Hunter, I need my fentanyl. Oh, God. Go upstairs. You'll find powder on the table where the object was. Don't touch it. Just put it in one of my mason jars. Then add half a cup of milk. Okay, baby? Okay. I never really like the baby comment. This is a witch, all right? By object, you mean panties? I asked. Her reply, boy. She was Dad's sister. Off I went again to follow her instructions. I asked Sam to stick with her just in case. I didn't understand what was going on, but I trusted Aunt Thea completely. When I went into the room, there was a dead snake where the panties had been. It was surrounded with red powder. I used an old envelope to scrape the powder into a mason jar. When I added milk to it, it was bubbled and turned to blood, or it looked like blood. They made a mistake, Aunt Thea said when we saw it. Sam and I were anxious to do something. We couldn't contain ourselves. But Aunt Thea insisted we had to be patient. Impulse got us into this. It ain't gonna get us out, she said.
Okay.
The jar had to wait. The jar had
Can
to
you
sit for a week.
Why are you locking onto him?
We had to go about our regular lives. Plus, we had
Ah,
more to do. And she said,
"Stupid fucking bitch
"We better
ass."
do it." The 7 days. We halted all Finder meetings at Aunt Thea's request, using that time to do homework instead. She especially wanted us to do our math work. Math clears the mind, she said. The first day of that week, I heard a strange noise outside my window. A sickening, warbling sound. I ran to the window thinking something was out there dying. What I saw was a box, just sitting in the backyard. A wardrobe-sized rectangle. Its door was open. I couldn't see anything inside. It was the blackest black. I went downstairs to the den window for a closer look. Aunt Thea and Sam were already there. Already starting, huh? She said. I don't like that thing, Sam said. It's just a box, I said, patting Sam on the shoulder. But I knew better. I knew the moment I saw it, just by feel, it was the box. The box Aunt Thea told us about. The box that bitch told me he kept her in. The box the Capri Sun, the box the Capri Sun guys wanted. If only, Aunt Thea said. Damn thing got bigger since I last saw it. Listen here, boys. They don't like what we're up to, and they're about to do everything in their power to stop it. And with that box, they got a lot of power. It's going to be the longest 7 days since the Lord created all things. What do we do? I asked. Do your math. We thought she was kidding, but she shut that down. You're going to do your math homework. You're not going to get ahead while you're at it. You're going to get ahead while you're at it. So hit the books. Before dinner, when I couldn't take any more equations, I came down for a walk around. Smell what was cooking. Sam was standing in the den after staring out the window. What are you doing? I asked. Watching it, he said. It gets darker sometimes. Not possible. It is. Something in there is darker yet. And when it moves, you can see. He looked and he was hypnotized staring at the box. The last time we stared too hard at something, it started this whole mess. Knock that off, I said and closed the curtains. I had to hold him back when he tried to reopen the curtains. I'd never seen him like that. Stop! If I don't keep watching, something will happen. He got past me and flung the curtains open, and when he did, we caught a glimpse of some hunched figure in all black tiptoeing out of sight around the corner. What was that? Sam asked. Steve Urkel, I said. But we didn't laugh. We told Aunt Thea what we saw. She said, go do your math. So I did Algebra 2, and Sam did trigonometry. Boy waited for something to happen. The only thing that happened was dinner. It took me a long time to fall asleep that night. I kept wondering what was coming next.
Fucking...
Night was always when Miss Booba would get up to something. Sure enough, as soon as I nodded off, I heard a whisper. JB. Sam? I turned on the lamp. A frog was on the floor by my bed. It opens its mouth and I heard, JB. I jumped on the bed and covered my feet. The frog stared at me with its cold eyes. JB, it's your dad. Quit being a pussy and help me out of the box. I can speak to you through this frog. You have to hurry. How do I know you're my dad? I asked. Remember, it whispered, remember that time I took you fishing out on the lake? I felt the tears starting to form in my eyes. You always wanted to go fishing.
Fuck you.
And I even let you make your own fly. We were supposed to catch trout. And we kept catching frogs after frog.
I'm stuck. Fuck.
That's why I used a frog.
A duck.
So you'd know.
And then screw a kangaroo at the horny zoo. Please heal.
That day you were thinking, why did God want me to have? Why did God want me to have so many frogs? It was so you'd be ready for this day. Frog day. Bring the jar, put it to the box, and get me out. None of that had ever happened. Only the lake had been right. A lucky guess. So I picked up my shoe to kill the damn thing. Stop! I'm in here, the frog and my little babies. It was her voice, still whispering, but I could tell it was her. It was like she was in the room with me. I guess she was, just in a frog. You put your babies in me, remember? You got me pregnant, JB, and you filled me up. Did you kill your babies? Your grandpa likes them. They like to move. He moves with them. We're always moving around. Moving, little baby bugs. Oh my god.
Only got
Good
one.
Fucking lord. I knew it. I threw the shoe and I missed. The frog leaped out the window. I know I had never opened that window. When I went to shut it, I saw a face staring up at me from the box. It wasn't the woman or the old man. Something else. I felt dizzy and sick when I saw it. It vanished almost right away. I knew I wasn't going back to sleep, so I went downstairs and Aunt Thea had a slice of pie ready for me in my math book. I fell asleep on the couch when the algebra book on my I fell asleep on the couch with the algebra book on my lap. Fuck sakes. I woke up to see Sam staring out the window again. Stop looking at it, I told him. He was pissing me off now. I couldn't sleep, he said without turning around.
No, don't
Auntie's
fucking.
dogs kept licking my feet all night. But that's right. She don't got a dog. The goddamn licking of the dog. Good lord. It is just like my aunt in San Diego. It is so gross. It's so nasty. God damn it. The day went much the same as the previous day. Sam stared obsessively. We ate meals, kept the doors locked.
I literally thought something was on fucking fire. Like, it smelled like something was actually burning, and it threw me the fuck off. How much is longer of this fucking...
And we were forced to study a lot of math. Sam and I camped out in his bedroom that night. We wanted to stick together, with no view of the box. JB, are you awake? Sam asked when I was almost asleep. Jesus, Sam, I am now. The thing's been putting ideas in my head. What? When I look at the box, it puts thoughts in me that aren't mine. It showed me what it did to you that night, with the titty woman. She put creatures in your body. Oh my god, my heart just about skipped a beat. No, Sam, I put something in her. After that, she did something to you. When you're 40, you'll see. Stop! Told me it'll turn you into a chair. You'll still be alive and you'll still be yourself, but nobody will know. You'll see a chair and sit on you or drag you around. You'll be alive and starving and tired, but you can't die. Can you imagine being a chair? If we get in that jar, they'll fix it. It's a lie. Show me other things. He started saying, but I put my hands over my mouth. Go to sleep or I swear. That was the night Sam started sleepwalking. Aunt Thea caught him about to open the back door. So day three, the plan is Aunt Thea locks us in the room. But I wasn't going to wait for night 3. I asked Aunt Thea, what happens if we just stop all of this? Give them the jar and tell them to fuck off. Maybe they're never gonna leave you alone, she said. Maybe for now, but not forever. You'll never get your dad back. I just thought, would Dad want me to risk Sam's life for this? Oh, my dad never. He slapped my ears for even having asked. I trusted Aunt Thea, I did, but she didn't know everything. I already learned all of algebra too. I told her when she wanted me to do more math. That's it. I hit the limit. Funny you mentioned limits, she replied, because I'd like to introduce you to differential calculus. In the den, you'll find a textbook from when I was in college. From when I was a college girl. It's still good. Calculus don't change. I went to Sam at the window where he was staring. Tears were running down his face and his eyes were full of blood. His lips were moving rapidly. I could hear him saying some of the ideas they were putting in his mind. I made up my mind right then. I'm sorry. I told him to kiss his forehead. Didn't move. So while Aunt Thea thought I was doing calculus, and while Mom stayed in her room reading her Kindle all day, and while Sam got his ideas put in his head, I pulled out the business card and called the Department of Energy. And within an hour, a U-Haul painted black pulled into Aunt Thea's driveway. A bunch of white men in dark gray suits jumped out the back. What'd you do? Aunt Thea asked me. The men stood in a circle around the box, each holding up a smartphone-looking thing, and they walked in a circle around the box. I heard that weird sound again, the sickening warble. Then the men took the box back to the U-Haul. While they were doing that, the jar of blood exploded and the blood inside burned the hole in Aunt Thea's kitchen table. We could have made it! Never see that box again now. Sam was doing his math.
I'm gonna be done after this
Sam
one,
hasn't spoken to me
but
since. He understands what I did. And for it. That's the story of how I grew up. How I became a man, took responsibility, and made everyone hate me. I thought about killing myself a few times since then. Of all people, the one who kept me from ending it was Mom. She put her hand on my shoulder and said, Dad, I'd be so proud of you. Then she added, too bad we're in that box. Not a day goes by, I don't think of that. Oh, God. You know, it's crashing out by yourself is such a different experience. I feel like around the halfway mark, I was feeling the fatigue, like the humor was hitting me, and then it just seemed like it's one of those things. I mean, it's the classic creepypasta conundrum where it's like an interesting idea or a spooky hook that goes absolutely fucking nowhere, and now it's just this like a slog of an ending. And then you can obviously tell that people they had no idea what the fuck to do, so they're just like, hey, it's done. I don't know, and they're in the box. That's it. Bye bye. But I will say, halfway, I think for about an hour and 15 minutes, I have been in full-blown panic attack mode reading this. I kind of like the idea at first where it was like, oh, they're using the humor of like a kid wanting, like, you know, a fucking teenage boy in high school wanting sex, whatever, from a hot woman that lives next door, and he used it as a hook to propel you into a fun story. But God, it just never fucking ended, man. It never ended, and it would just crescendoed. I was just, you know, and the thing too is, I could sit there and nitpick the entire thing and be in the spot where it's like, well, you know, you could just sit there and make this a 4-hour-long recording just complaining the whole time. But
I'm already out of flask. Nice.
It's weird too, though. There's so many moments where it was like a fun hook or a fun jab. You know what I mean? So many like little moments. The dog licking feet, old boy getting Grambussy, you know, all that stuff. A lot of little things. I didn't understand that. There's just a lot of stuff where I'm like, what the fuck is this supposed to mean? Like the whole idea of like the snake doesn't really go anywhere. The mom felt useless, unless the mom had always been just a part of the voodoo ritual experience. Like the bus didn't make sense. Also, the energy people, I thought that was just, I guess it is supposed to be the dude. It's supposed to be the old man, I'm pretty sure. And then he was able to get out of there while they were doing the spell or something. But this whole idea of like she's listening to Michael Jackson for like a day and a half, it's just all really. I just what the fuck was, I don't know. I feel lost. I'm very curious to see what the general audience thinks, but I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. And the Capri Sun thing, like those little details where it's like, I can't tell if like these little details where like it's taking elements of your memories or your experience and trying to, it's like fabricating people and ideas just off of like things that it's monitored you, but like, I don't know. I don't know. Also the dementia dude. It seems like is every person this child is interacting with is just this entity, this Tommy Taffy-esque entity. I don't know. Oh. I feel like at the beginning I was kind of bought in on how silly and fun it was, and then just kept getting. And to say that it got weird is a bad thing. I don't think that's the bad thing. It just got nonsensical to the point where I don't know.
I don't even feel nothing.
I don't fucking know. This is usually the part where Isaiah will say nice things, and then I get to kind of like, I get put into a spot where I'm like, oh, that's true. You know, oh, I guess that's a fair point, or something like that. But now you just have fucking negative Nancy, and I'm like, what the fuck was that, dude? I mean, I'm like, I don't know. At least we got to have my mom talk about what she'd do if boys are trying to look at her titties. That was kind of fun. So at least we got that. It's not horrible. But you know what? It's a story. We had some nice fun laughs out of it. There were some fun spooky moments, but it just falls into the very classic. It falls into the classic category of I have a fun idea and I have no way to execute this idea, so I'm just gonna throw a bunch of random shit at the end and it'll be wrapped up quickly because I'm bored or I just don't want to do it anymore. So there it is. Thank you guys for hanging out and jamming with me so long. I know this is kind of long recording today, but this will be the one that's up on the.
I think when the dad ended up missing, it would have been a perfect time to.
So thank you so much to my beautiful Patreon chat for keeping me company here, and also thank you to all the people who have Spotify and Apple Podcasts. It really does help us out, and I appreciate it. Until next time, guys. Hopefully Isaiah will be joining us again. Like I said, we need the dynamic duo. Until then, stay great. Bye bye.
I'm gonna level up health, I think. Yeah. Fuck it. Fuck it, mate. Alright, I'll pick up more tomorrow. Goodbye.